Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home? Madam Mayor, let me ask you just again, have you anything to say to the citizens today as you return?
No.
They're gonna come.
Ma'am, hold on 1 second.
Madam Mayor, just a few words for the citizens today as you return to deal with the catastrophe.
Can you take this down?
It's the Homeless Left with Matt Weinglass and co-host Craig Pasta Jardula. And here's your host, Matt Weinglass.
Hello, everyone. We're back. The Homeless Left is back. We're here. We're still in one piece, and we're doing the job that the mainstream media refuses to do, and that's why we're here with you guys today. We're right in the middle of the fires. We didn't have to evacuate, thank God. Many others did. Many others are not doing so well at all. And we're here to do what we have to do and report to you guys what's happening here as honestly, as courageously, as principled as we possibly can, as you guys know that we do every time that we come live to you. And this was supposed to be a season premiere for you guys. It still technically is. We took a few weeks off. It's the new year. We had a lot of good stuff planned for you on this first episode. We had to kind of maneuver some stuff around because this is what's happening right now in LA. LA is on fire. It's still on fire. And it's something that this is a moment of truth for us and for people around us. Maybe there's people that have not been paying attention or have refused to have conversations we've been having on this show for a year and a half. A lot of our colleagues, associates, people we work with, our co-host we're going to bring in a moment, Craig Pasta, had been doing this a lot longer than we have, and a lot of his colleagues. I mean, they've been asking questions like this forever, years and years, and there's still people that don't want to listen. Maybe now's the time. Maybe now's the time. This might be the wake-up moment for a lot of people. This might be the silver lining of this horrible disaster. We're going to be talking about it all day for the next 3 hours. We got some great guests coming in. This is not the way I intended to start the show off, guys. I usually am a lot more in a better mood. And again, this is our season premiere. So we wanted to say, happy 2025. How happy is it? I don't know, but we're here. Whoever's watching, you're in one piece. We're in one piece. We have our health. We have our mental capacity. So we have the duty and, we have the ability and the duty to have these conversations now and to engage and to use our critical thinking skills. And that's what we do here on the Homeless Left. That's what the Homeless Left is about. That's what it is about, is taking off our tribal goggles, taking off those things that keep us from using our own critical thinking skills and start engaging and asking the right questions. And we're going to be asking the right questions. And we're not going to apologize for asking those questions today. We're going to be skeptical of the people in power. We're not going to punch down on people with no power. We're going to punch up. That's what we're doing here. And we don't care where you're homeless from. You might be homeless right, homeless up, homeless down, homeless upside down. It doesn't matter. Here on the homeless left, we are all homeless together. And now, more literally, there are more homeless together with us, whether it's literal or figuratively. Let's do this together. It's a real populist movement. We're starting here, and that's what we're doing, and that's what 2025 is going to be about more than ever before. That's what it's about. So again, we have a great show planned for you guys. A lot of content we're going to get into today, mostly about the fires, but there's other stuff as well. So I'm going to be bringing in Craig in just a second here. NICK CRUSE from RBN, he's joining us a little later. We have a great guest, Malibu Fires DEW specialist. Leo's going to be with us shortly as well. We're going to get into some Trump versus Gavin Newsom stuff. Also, get your questions, comments ready. We're going to try to get to you guys throughout the show on our Talking Back, Super Chats, anything you guys can do for us. We appreciate. One more thing I should mention before we bring in Craig. I just have to let you guys know, we've been dealing with censorship. We've been fighting the censorship industrial complex. You guys know that we had our YouTube channel terminated for challenging Big Pharma, challenging the military industrial complex, challenging Israel. We were punished. We were told, no, you can't be on YouTube. Your conversations are too dangerous. Too dangerous. We have to keep people safe. So today, we're trying a new channel. We're going to hopefully sneak past the censors and get through to it. So if you guys know that we have done this, or you're finding out for the first time, just know that we are actually on YouTube as an experiment right now on a brand new channel that we're calling THL Presents. So let's see if we can get through the censors with this one, but we just put this up. So we're streaming live on YouTube right now, THL Presents. And so if you guys can follow and be part of that, when you get a chance, please do that. Obviously, a lot of you guys on Rumble right now. This is our bread and butter. We appreciate Rumble letting us have these conversations, even though we're fully engaged in the censorship industrial complex. We have no answer for that. As far as the surveillance industrial complex, we have no answer for the surveillance industrial complex. We kind of have to just give up and let them surveil us all they want on Rumble. But at least they let us have the conversations, and they're not going to cut our feed off on Rumble. So we do appreciate that as well. And you can follow Matt Weinglass. We're live right now on X, also on the Homeless Left on X. So we appreciate all that. And of course, locals, that's where we really get your guys's. We can really thank you for your support on the locals. That's where it keeps us going, whether it's a one-time or ongoing. We really, really appreciate that from you guys. So let's get into the show right now. Without further ado, welcome back to the show, our colleague, our friend, Craig Pasta Jardula. Here we go. There he is.
Eric.
Gotcha.
Thank you for having me on, Matt. It's always fun to come on a Homeless Left because there's a lot of us homeless. And I don't know, you said you're not starting off the show like normal, but you always find a way to either make me laugh or get really mad with the clip you play in the beginning. And man, is that clip from Karen Bass? Is that her name? Or Mayor Bass?
Yeah.
Or Mayor, let's remove the B and let the rest of it say, because I mean, and listen, Matt, this is why I follow elections. In the United States, we don't have elections. We have selections. And until we have the power to fire people who don't do a job and have the power to hire people to represent us well, this stuff is going to consistently happen. And the fact that she couldn't even answer to what was being asked of her right there, the audacity. It was like Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, the other day, when he's being told you're doing such a crappy job and he tries to spin it. Well, I'm going to keep representing the will of the people. It's like, are you listening? They think you're failing. And, enough is enough. It's terrible. Awful, Mayor Bass.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's disgusting. Disgusting person. We're going to talk more about her in a second here. I need people to understand that what happened last night is it's more than a tragedy. For us, it's a curtain being pulled back for people that were not paying attention. They saw these fires bursting out of nowhere all over the place at the same time. I want to just play the first clip that got our attention. This is in Malibu. This is very close to us. This is what first happened here. And you can see just that this is a very rich area. So this is, and we're going to talk about the comparisons to Lahaina as well, but this is a very rich area with multi-million-dollar homes and, you know, businesses all across the PCH, and they're all gone. They're all gone. This is somebody driving through there just the other night, and this is like, this to me, like this is what set the stage for what was coming after that. And then the fires that came up into Hollywood, they came up everywhere else, all around the valley. They're in Pasadena, they're everywhere. And we're going to show you guys that map in a second. But this is the first video we saw where we knew that this thing was going to be bad. Here it is.
Oh my God. We're out of the way. And until we get water tenders or the water system restored, we're doing the best we can with this evacuation routes.
Oh, more. Oh my God, look at all these fucking homes.
From operations, copy that with that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, strike team reporting there. Darnell.
Holy fuck.
I'll take the strike team to assist with the area because we still have the community that all these homes to leave. But if you have other priorities,
this is insane.
greater need.
This is like the most wild thing.
So that was 2 nights or a day and a half ago. Now, here is the aftermath of the same area from above. Here we go.
Mike, I can't believe my eyes what we're seeing here in the Pacific Palisades and into Santa Monica. Just nothing but destruction. All those hot spots are structures that have burned or are burning right now. As I zoom in, it's just home after home. I don't even have the words for it to describe. Look at this area here. This is off of, it's off of Rimmer Avenue and Monument Street. I mean, just homes are destroyed here, just wiped out completely. It's just really unbelievable to see the devastation here, the structures that are still on fire, the businesses that have burned, the homes that have burned down, the apartment complexes, fire next to that church there. It looks like a church anyways, but it's just unbelievable to see all this. I'm going to bring in our map system so you can see the streets that are affected here, but it is burned all the way to the shoreline, all the way down to PCH, and there you see the shoreline there. But it is just our first time looking at this. The smoke is cleared, and we're getting our first look from above.
Okay, so for those who thought it was just going to stay there, that's not the case. Fires started popping up everywhere, all at the same time. And this is all in the last, like, less than 24 hours. We had fires popping up. I'm going to show you guys the map we took, and this is very important. You understand that we got most of our information from this app that it was the most accurate as far as up to date. It is called the Watch Duty app, and this is I took this screenshot last night, so we were following this. Here we go. This app actually was instructing everybody in the entire LA area, that includes Santa Monica and Malibu, all through LA. I can't do much more with this because this is a screenshot from last night. It changes every second. Like, you can go on this like right now and it's up to date. But these are where you started seeing these other fires break out. And you guys see where it says Los Angeles, that blue dot, that's where we're at. That's the Homeless Left home studios there. And you can see we're right surrounded by all of these fires that started popping up. So you have the Palisades fire on the left. You got this Hearst one way up north. This is out on the other side of the valley. The Eaton fire, that's over at Pasadena area. And then this was before the Sunset fire, which broke up. That's right above the blue dot. You don't see it on that map yet because it hadn't registered yet. Here we go. Yeah, this is thanks, Jamie. This is where the Sunset fires is now. If you go down, yeah, there we go. So that's more, I don't want to say it's contained. It's still at 0% containment, but we know that, yeah, it basically made itself up into the hill. So as we know from last night, Highland, Hollywood, that whole area, everybody was on evacuation notice. It's all gone. Like not gone. Like if you're south of Hollywood Boulevard, you're pretty okay. If you're north of Hollywood Boulevard, you're screwed. We know people in the hills, they're gone. Their houses are gone.
What's Hollywood Highland like, though? You said that
So, okay, well, what we have is let me see if I can grab a picture of Hollywood and Highland. This is near Hollywood and Highland. We have this. This is actually the Hollywood sign right behind it. This is what we have. It's burning. This was last night. Check this out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Hollywood and Highland, for people that don't know, that's where all the cartoon characters are at too, as well. Taking pictures around there. The old Chinese Man Theater is right over there. That's like a historic area right over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy.
It's awful what happened here. This is, again, like, people thought it was just going to be specifically to Malibu, Santa Monica, but once you start having these fires pop up, I'm gonna put this up again. This is the stuff that, Craig, you and I, we started working together because of Lahaina.
Yeah.
We were talking about Lahaina. We were talking about how fires were popping up, not related to each other. When you looked on the map and you saw the different weird patterns of this part of this neighborhood going up, this part not going up, this part going up. So people in LA right now are seeing this, and they're very confused. And I'm telling you, people that have lost everything, people that were evacuated last night, they're asking questions now. That's good. So we're seeing questions being asked about how do all these fires all happen at exactly the same time. We have more we're going to get into on that discussion, and looking at the miles an hour, that the 100-mile-an-hour winds, which are literally impossible to do, but they were recorded that way. So there's a lot of stuff we're going to get into here. Oh yeah, okay. So we have, this is the full range of the Palisades fire on this map. Jamie, thanks for that. Yeah, he's okay. So this is in real time. This is right now.
That's right now, still going on.
Yeah. They haven't contained anything. More people are still being evacuated as of this morning. They're still being evacuated.
That gray area down there is Malibu.
You're very loud.
Down here in the corner. Oh, sorry about that. I'll back off.
It makes me like, we're so angry. We're so sad. There's a lot of emotion right now in LA.
Yeah.
We know there's people that they didn't care when this was happening in North Carolina. They didn't care when it was happening in Lahaina. Now they care. Their multi-million-dollar homes are no longer exist. Now they care. Now they're paying attention. Okay. We have to figure this out together. So let me see if I'm able to. Let's do so I'm really affected right now, Craig. I know you understand, like, if the viewers understand, we're right in the middle of this. Like, we're literally watching people's houses burn to the ground, and we're trying to keep our senses together here and do the job that we're trying to do, which is do the investigation, ask the questions, figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, there's people that are losing everything. They're all in fight or flight. So it's a very hard balance right now, but we're trying to keep it together and do this job so people understand that's what needs to happen. We can't get this on Anderson Cooper. We can't get this. He's going out and doing fake ass interviews and fake ass, these theater pieces. And people think that that's the news. It's not. So we have to do this. So we appreciate you guys with us today as we try and piece this thing together. I have Top Censor News, but we also have I want to get to our guest. I don't know if maybe we should push Top Censor News.
Let's get to our guest, because this is
okay.
If it's the fire, this is the breaking news.
This is the breaking news. Okay. We'll go ahead and I'm going to give him a proper intro on this, and then we'll get back to Top Censor News, which is fire related stuff anyway. So we're right in the middle of it, guys. So we're going to keep this going. But this I think we're very, very fortunate today. The timing of this, and I'm going to be bringing him in a second here, but I want you guys to know the next guest we're bringing in, he is I would call him a fires expert. He's studied the DEWs. We've talked about that on the show before. We've talked about with Lahaina, North Carolina. We wanted to have this conversation. We wanted to have this conversation before 2025. Unfortunately, it had to wait till today when we're in the middle of this disaster. So let's go ahead. Give me 1 second here, guys. Okay, we're gonna bring him in right now. Apologies. Okay. He's a Chumash tribe. His family goes way back, deep roots in Malibu, Ojai, Ventura, Santa Barbara, Channel Islands. As I said, he's very familiar with the DEWs, and he has firsthand accounting of all of the anomalies of the Malibu and Woodsley fires. He's been studying these for years. And so we're very lucky to be joined today by our friend Leo Tumamaiti. Leo Tumamaiti. I hope I pronounced that right. Welcome to the show, Leo.
Hey there, Matt. Hey, Craig.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I apologize if I could not pronounce the last name correctly. Can you please correct me?
Tumamaiit.
Tumamaiit. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Leo Tumamaiit. Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the Homeless Left, Leo. Thank you for reaching out about your knowledge and expertise in this. And I know, and I want to be very clear with the viewers, you reached out to us before the fires. These fires we're dealing with right now in real time. You reached out to us, I think it was around Christmas, right before New Year's. We said we want to have a discussion about the state of California, the state of this particular Southern California, and the things that you maybe anticipated at that time. And I said, oh, hey, let's set this up right after New Year's. We'll set it. We'll have you come on. We'll talk about it. This discussion about what California is doing wrong, what Gavin Newsom's doing wrong, seemingly on purpose. And you wanted to have that conversation before all this happened. Now here we are. And I hate to start the interview with, I told you so to anybody who did not believe that we could see this coming. You could see this coming, correct? Could you tell us briefly what you were looking at that made you believe that something like this was going to happen in the last 48 hours?
Well, I'm always looking for people that want to talk about this topic, and that's really, really hard to do. So to find people that have written a book about it, that are having that discussion, I've been talking to people for a long time about it, just to deaf ears. They don't want to hear it. I mean, I've gotten crap just today for even bringing up the show to people, that I've known for a long time. And by no means am I here to berate people that have lost everything. My wife, her mother lost her place. Her boyfriend of 30, 40 years lost his place. I'm directly connected to it. So in no way am I trying to berate anybody or make them feel bad. I just want, if we talk about this in real time, we might actually get a little bit closer to something, because I've been talking about this after the fact all the time. And before it, we saw these fires in just happened in Malibu recently, and no structures burned, but anomalies were happening. Windstorms, all these crazy things. And then, and I just thought, in my personal belief, that since no structures, but you had anomalies, that it was maybe to justify that fire season just happens all the time, and it doesn't. I grew up out in the woods, so this might be really hard for people from LA to hear, but natural fires don't do this stuff. And if you think that they do, then you need to spend more time in nature, because people in LA have a hard time with nature. Go talk to a surfer. Go ask them if this happens, because they're out in water all the time. They're going to be a little bit more grounded about this kind of stuff. I grew up out in the forest fires everywhere. Never heard of a wildfire until just recently. But then again, you go study wildfires and go down the road at how fast the wind blows and those things, and you'll come up with different answers than if you go Google or talk to ChatGPT about wild or forest fires. You're going to get two sets of answers that are totally different. Well, they're talking about two different kinds of fires. The language is different. The meanings change. Change the language, change the meaning. So I reached out because I saw somebody had written a book about this, and I wanted to talk to them directly, because the resources on this stuff is really small. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, if people haven't seen the overhead picture just yet, I'm gonna grab this, and you sent us some pictures too. We're gonna get to that in a little bit here, but this is what was going around on Twitter here. Just want to get the right file here. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, so this is the shot of the tree. Okay, I think this is the correct one. Yeah, because we got two different fires. So this is the one, I believe, from 2018. Yes. The one, okay, so this is no, I'm sorry. This is the Palisades. This is the one right now. You can see the trees still intact. Now look at this next one. This is also from a fire where the trees are intact and all the places are destroyed. That's I think this one is from I'm sorry, I mixed them up. I apologize. This is Palisades 2025. I'm gonna go back to the previous one. This is from 2018 in Paradise. So could you explain to us what is happening and why these similar pictures and why this doesn't look like normal fires? Because we're looking right at this. This is the one, again, from 2018. This is from right now in the Palisades.
Well, if you watch mainstream media, what you're going to hear is embers. They're going to explain everything. You have stupid language like embers. They explain away everything with the word embers, which is insane. And I've seen the only explanation I've ever seen on TV of the embers is an infographic that they created to like a cartoon to explain how embers fly through the air and grab onto the eaves of buildings and start burning them down that way. And then they'll sidestep and in the same sentence say how it's the brush the brush is too dry or whatever. But then you see all these trees everywhere. And here's the funny thing. Well, it's not so funny, but like to me, you look at it and you realize that every single house looks exactly the same. I walked on 130 sites in Malibu. I didn't see one toilet, one granite countertop. Everything had been dustified, turned to just dust. And if you read books from Judy Woods, she was covered 9/11. She wrote a book and did lectures on where did the towers go. Have you ever heard of her? And I think she got threatened because she disappeared really quick. Not dead or anything. She didn't die. She just stopped doing lectures, stopped talking about it. But anyway, she described dustification. So go watch her lectures and she can describe some of this technology to you with the dustifications of everything. Because her central argument was, where did the structure go? There's not enough debris to justify the size of the tower. So that being said, you look at here and all you see is dust. You don't see anything. No, even metal structures, they're all twisted steel, but you don't see pots, pans. I didn't see any of that stuff. And I found in Malibu, I found a stack of records. The only thing that I could ever justify this with, this ideal, I found a stack of records. See, I went on to Malibu already knowing all this stuff. So I saw a stack of records that were all solid dust. And I donned and put on all my equipment, went in there, and I was able to peel the records apart and look at the titles, and you could see a record that said Jimi Hendrix or whatever. So none of that burned. Like vinyl melts if you leave it out in the sun. I have a lot of it. But I was able to peel those apart and clap my hands together and turn the whole thing to dust. So it was frozen in dust, these records. And I took a video of it, and that video disappeared off my phone. So within a week. So this is like, yeah. And I even showed it to my wife. I showed it to my mother-in-law. I showed it to a lot of different people. And they just couldn't believe it. They kind of denied, like they didn't even want to think about what that might imply. Yeah. But then it disappeared, and I haven't seen it since.
All my January 6 footage, by the way. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Leo, just to reinforce what he's saying. All my January 6 footage disappeared off my phone, gone. So I know what it's like. They can remove it from the inside out. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to just reinforce what you're saying. I believe you, Leo.
Yeah, and we believe you too. I'm gonna piggyback and then get it back to you, Leo.
Go ahead.
We believe you too because we went to Lahaina. We had people share footage with us that they told us was disappearing from their phones. And they said, we have to send it to you on these different means. Like you cannot just email people. You can't just do a Google Drive. It's going to, they're going to have access to all of that. And we saw all that. So people that have to be, you get very paranoid as a result. You're like, what are they? They're all in my stuff. And you try and tell people and they don't believe you. So we want you to know, and we want our viewers to know, we believe you because we deal with it ourselves. Craig also deals with it with the January 6th footage. We see it. We see this happen when there's stuff that they just don't want us to be sharing, and they have the ability to get it from us. So I want to be very clear with our viewers that this is a real thing. So we're seeing more of it right now. So yeah, go ahead. Pass it back to you, Leo. Go for it.
And that term "they" too, I don't want people to get hung up on that, because I've heard that argument. It's a non-argument. Who are they? Who is this they? You just say instantly, they are the people who might have interest in that. That's who we're referring to in the form of conversation. So that's the answer. Now, if you want to speculate on who that is, that's a different conversation. But for the terms of this conversation, they means the people who might have interest in that. There you go. So, but yeah, so they all have the same finger. I call it the DEW fingerprint. And I didn't come on. You wrote the headline. I don't position myself as an expert in it because I don't want the liability. But I do study the remnants of all this stuff. And I've been on more sites probably than anybody else. That doesn't work for FEMA. I have deep roots from historical roots going back for 8,000 years in Malibu. So it's like, and I have never been able to afford to live there. So it's like, but at the same time, so I can see this kind of, it's not just intuition, it's intuition that which is defined as the quick realization of truth. It's the intuition that drives me to go read documents, to go read patents. I don't just reject things at face value. So when I go onto these things, I see these as a fingerprint. There's fingerprints that these weapons, whatever these things are, they leave these fingerprints. Just like I sent, one of our family members sent us a picture of the smoke over the trailer park in Palisades Bowl. And my wife already knows to look for these fingerprints because she's so versed in this stuff. I was on the computer doing something else, and she had zoomed in on the smoke there because she saw a ribbon in the smoke, this weird, crazy white ribbon. And so she zoomed in on it, and she found fishbone frequency waves in the smoke. That would be a fingerprint, because what else would cause that? If anybody has any idea on what that was, I'm all ears.
So
if you
we
zoom
have it
way,
right here.
if you zoom way in on that, you can see frequency waves in there. I mean, you have to get real close, real close.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me see if I can.
I don't know if it translates to the computer, but I mean, we did it on the phone. You could get real close. And you see this fishbone scaling like you see in the chem clouds sometimes. You're like, where did those come from? And by the way, if you don't know anything about frequency weapons or frequency, go buy a $10 book that's like 60 pages long and verse yourself on HARP. And then you can get into WSR 88Ds, which are land-based individual versions of HARP that double as a Doppler machine. So you could read all about that kind of stuff from NexRad, but you got to start little to understand how the technology works.
Okay, so I'm looking right now at I can see there's this fishbone figure there. What can you be clear? What is that? What are you suggesting that is coming from? What is that?
That's a ribbon. Like it looks like a ribbon. It looks like a vortex kind of. But when you zoom way in on it, and I don't know if your computer can do it, but on the phone we could. You zoom way in on it. I mean, as close as you can get to it, as close as you can zoom, and you will see these tiny little ripples in there, in the smoke. What is causing those ripples in the smoke? Well, when you read about HARP, you understand that HARP and these NexRads, like a microwave transmitter, causes things, particulates, to be able to ripple like that. That's why you see fish bones in the clouds and stuff. And there's hours and hours and hours of videos and even volumes of books describing how you could do that. It's like when you see those machines that are frequency machines with the salt on them, you change the frequency and the salt will jump and change shape and do all that different stuff with the different frequencies. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about lines in there. How did the smoke get those patterns in it? If somebody can describe that to me, I'm all ears. But you show me how to do that, and I'll show you microwave technology, because I can show you how that happens.
So let's assume that the technology exists. They have the means to do this. They've done it before. They're doing it again. What is the intention of them doing this to specifically Southern California right now in all these different fires? We showed our viewers earlier in the show all the different fires that popped up. This kind of the targeted attack all around LA. What is the game here? What is the end game? What do you speculate that is, or what the why behind it is what I'm asking?
Well, that's the $64,000 question. I mean, we can only speculate. I would think that it's reorganized California, because when you look at Agenda 2030, you look at Agenda 2030, the FEMA camps and all that stuff that was been put up, that's all a matter of record. When I was talking about it, people called me crazy, but they were building it in real time. So it's like, and all you do is just read the documents. So just passing information along. I'm just like, kind of a mess, just passing information along. But I would say to reorganize California and specifically LA, but we saw these fires. Okay, so here's a good instance, like the Santa Rosa fire. When that happened, that's called the Tubbs fire, if anybody wants to look it up. And Deborah Tavares was kind of a whistleblower on that with the emails that she figured out with PG&E, that she got on an email thread with them, questioning them, and in the process of that got added to an emails chain that was secret, like that she wasn't supposed to be on. And so you could research Deborah Tavares, but anyway, and those email campaigns or whatever that was. And she found out that PG&E wasn't a public service. It was a privately owned company. And that was huge because when they sunk PG&E, it was a private company sinking its own thing as a fall guy. That's what she found out. That was huge because she realized that the city of Santa Rosa rejected the smart meters. They were the first town in the United States to reject the smart meters. They voted it out because they were on the block to get those first, and they voted it out. And 2 months later, I'm paraphrasing. Correct me if I'm wrong. It could be 3 or 4 months or 1 month. I can't remember what the months is, but soon after that, Santa Rosa burnt to the ground.
All right, let's digress
of reasons for why you would do this.
Okay,
go ahead.
Let's digress for a second. We shouldn't go to the why. Let's stick on the what first, because I think we haven't dove into the what yet. You made a statement. You said weapons, right? And I'm still trying to get my Lahaina video released. And in my last one, I talked to a lady who talked about HARP, who talked about direct energy weapons, and I talked to people over there who believed in geoengineering as a part of the whole package with the winds. Dane Wigginton has been on my show before. We talked to people. I met people on the other side of the island in Hana who talked about a laser. And, lasers are up there in the mountains over right by Maui. I mean, they have a lot of, and some people had said that the laser that was in Maui was some of the technology they were using to sell to Israel as far as the Iron Dome. So we know that a lot of this stuff exists. We understand what happened in HARP. I mean, the craziness in HARP in Turkey, the way the embassies pulled out the day before that earthquake or 2 days before, everybody left the 10 embassies. But I think there's more to it. And I've had some history back in California with going after, PG&E, maybe being the fall person. But it seems like there's more than just one thing taking place. Like, I never try to talk about the what because I don't know exactly what. I talk about the failed response from the government itself. I talk about the failed mentality of sorts of listening to environmentalists instead of listening to people who know and have knowledge like yourself about fires, right? This whole let's just leave everything there and not clean up the burnt wood and let it create a tinderbox situation. It seems to me, and especially with the work I've done in Lahaina, they had water diversion for years to Lahaina. Lahaina was the greenest place around. And then eventually it became one of the brownest places around because they were diverting waters to golf courses and nice areas. What I'm trying to say is that it's just more than one thing. Would you agree that it's more than just a possibility of an energy weapon? It's maybe an energy weapon, geoengineering, neglect listening to environmentalists to let that place turn into a tinderbox. I mean, I know that Donald Trump got made fun of. And I don't want to – Donald Trump wasn't the first one to say that we need controlled burns in California. I mean, Gavin Newsom exaggerated to the tune of 700% more controlled burns than they actually had data for. And I think that's one of the worst things they can do. I know a lot of people want to say it's woke policies, but I look at it as old school mafia embezzlement. Like, I'm going to take all this money from the state, I'm going to give it to my friends, no bid contracts, I'm going to exaggerate the work we're doing, we're going to pocket it all. Can you say that it's more than just one thing that actually happens to these, that happens to create these fires and to control them or move them wherever they want to move them? In other words, it's more than just HARP, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, yes, I think there's multiple things going on. But as far, and there might even be multiple contractors that have this technology, because I look at this as a contractor thing, which a lot of people don't even say. So I look at this as like, you have a ditch witch, and then somebody wants to put in a ditch. They don't want to use shovels. They want to use your ditch witch. Well, you own the ditch witch, so you hire it out to them. And covertly, they say, all these people in all these trailers, they're collecting all this money. We want this land back. And then they hire somebody out, and they go and take all the trailers back. So some of this is land grab. Some of it is like there's a high-speed railway in Northern California, right? There was a lot of fires up there, and to put those in. And there's several different technologies. So there's several. I think there's a lot of different contractors that own a lot of different technologies and do this stuff. I also think that, and the reason why I think a lot of this is the technology and contractors and contracts, because it's all business to begin with, right? I mean, this is Vatican ran. I could go in hours on that, proving how, just how the birth certificate and how it's related to the placenta, and I mean, that's a huge topic. But anyway, so it's all business. This is all business, just like you're saying. Absolutely. For sure. But this just different facets of it. And they don't want us having the business. It's always more for them and less for us. If you actually look at the trend, that's what it is. So they might be arguing over this stuff. Again, people that would have interest in this might actually be arguing over stuff, but it's never in our favor. So what difference would that make? And prior to 2011, and this is a good point to back up what you're saying, fires happen. They happen, sure. But when there's technology involved, and Tinderbox, okay, so you're saying Tinderbox has been around forever. So, but the difference is, prior to 2011 in Malibu, there wasn't it was 60 mile an hour gusts with 40 mile an hour winds. That's pretty fast. That's about as fast as they would record. Every now and again, maybe a little higher than 60 miles an hour in Malibu is a gust, right? That's enough to tip over a semi truck. I grew up in Northern California. It happened all the time. Wind advisory, 60 miles an hour would blow over semi trucks. They would be stopped on the side of the road, on the side of the freeway on I-5. That's just how it goes. So that's an old knowledge. I've had that forever. Malibu, 60 miles an hour. And up until 2011, that changed. It was 167 miles an hour in Malibu in 2011. Those are wind events, not windstorms. Prior to 2011, there were windstorms that would get up to 60 miles an hour. So yes and no, because you have a tinderbox, sure, and they could desiccate with chemtrails, whatever that stuff is, to desiccate things out to make it worse. But we're talking fires that move down into town as opposed to fires to just burn up forests. These are different. Wildfires burn up towns and houses. Forest fires burn up forests. These are two different things that we're talking about. So yes and no at the same time to what you're saying.
I was just trying to follow up with this seems like a perfect storm, right? Like, to me, I didn't concentrate on what started. I concentrated on more on the response, but I did have to dip my toe into the what. And it seemed like, to me, the thing that was most harmful for Lahaina was the water diversion for years. Is it safe to say that in California, and I know you probably, I'm asking a question, I know I'm not going to get the answer I want for it, because we did say it's the perfect storm, but I would say the lack of the controlled burns in California could be one of the things that is the most makes this situation really, really bad. In other words, let's say all these other factors happen, the winds, the energy weapon, the whatever, the arson, everything. If we had controlled burns, we'd have a lot less destructive of a situation. Would you agree to that than we do today?
Not as it pertains to houses, no. But as it pertains to woods, yes. And those photos that were shown before are pretty compelling, that it didn't matter if it was tinderbox, like if things were dried out or desiccated or not, the house is burned. So unless we're watering the houses every day, and the houses, you know what I mean? Unless we're putting on thicker paint or whatever that is, or blue, even blue roofs like people talk about, whatever that is, then why are the trees there? So it's like, people are losing everything, and it's less for us, more for whoever would have interest in that. And that's where I focus on, is that I hate that the woods get burned up. Look at the King Fire up by Tahoe. There was the biggest fire in history, and I don't doubt that there was technology involved in that. Maybe that was a testing ground for that, but that was where technology might have met tinderbox conditions in desiccated areas that absolutely could have been cleaned up. But we'll never know. We'll never know, because that had an 80,000 foot firestorm associated with it that is absolutely associated with technology because that didn't exist prior to that. And no dry woods would ever make me believe that it could get like that and get that high and create lightning and thunder and things that were never created before.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Leo, I know you mentioned, I mean, this was part of our original discussion before everything happened here in the last 48 hours. We're talking about doing kind of a deep dive into all of these. And I know I've seen the extensive work you've done on all the previous fires before this one. I would love to have that discussion. Is there anything about in the last, like you said your mom, your wife's mom lost her house. That was last night or yesterday.
Yeah.
Apologies. Yeah. That's horrible. We're grieving with you and your family. We have friends and family. They've lost everything in the last 24 hours. They've lost everything. And this is such and I feel almost like we're having this discussion, and even the fact that we're asking these questions, some people might even think it's heartless for us to want to do these deep dives. And it's like, and we spoke today about it, like this deep dive, like we wanted to do before this happened, like before the Palisades went up in flames, before we lost the Hollywood Hills are up in flames. Everybody, the fires are going right now as we're speaking. And we wanted to do this deep dive. I guess I have more of like a philosophical question for you, but do you think that there's a timing issue of when we're allowed to do this? Like, or do you think now is the time? Like we talked about doing this deep dive, and I want to have another conversation with you in the future where we can actually go through each of these. I want to see how these all connect throughout the last 10, 15 years that you have all this evidence on. I want to go through it, but is now the time to do it? I mean, we've heard that's like a deflector. People say that to stop a conversation. Now's not the time. Now's not the time. But do you think there's any bit of truth in that? Are we being even insensitive right now to have this discussion? And Craig, I want your take on this too. I think we have to stop for a moment and take that breath and ask that question.
Yeah. Go ahead, Craig. I want to hear.
Well, I'm just going to say this much too, as well, and I think that Leo might agree with me on this situation, because I think no matter what, able to cover the Lahaina fires, do a couple documentaries, and kind of get the story out of what people are feeling on the ground. I mean, every single Hawaiian person I met in Maui, every single local, someone who lived there, the first thing they mentioned was the fact that they're getting offered $700 while they're shipping all this money off to Ukraine, right? And that's something that just kind of rings a bell with me. And they all know that the Governor Josh Green was the keynote speaker for 15 minutes sustainable cities, smart cities, pretty much. They didn't call him that in the UN. 2 months before it happened, everybody knows that the chief was the same chief crisis actor for the Las Vegas shooting. And the only antidote I can see for this, and obviously it's an antidote we will not get, is transparency, is the truth. Because no matter what, the people of Lahaina didn't get the answers that they needed, whether it be the fact of what entities these politicians are attached to, if they're attached to the World Economic Forum, if they're attached to the UN. We need a dose of transparency. I talk about it in my elections all the time, because to me, this is a result of having selections in the United States. If we don't have a mechanism where we can hire people and fire people, who are they going to be accountable? Surely not to the citizens. So for me, I think that no matter what happens, we need answers and we need transparency. And if the truth blows it up, so be it. It should blow it up. Go ahead, Leo.
I mean, I agree, because I've heard all of it. Nobody's ever wanted to talk to me about this stuff. It's like I have a select few people that I love talking to. I'll drive out just to see them so we could have these discussions and talk for hours and hours and hours, because it's like I need some kind of an outlet for this. You read and read and read and absorb all this stuff like a sponge, and then you never get wrung out. You know what I mean? You just harbor it and you go like, God, yeah, Matt, to answer your question and to answer anybody else's thoughts on this, or to answer my own thoughts, and just to tell everybody else this too. I've heard it. I've heard I don't want to hear this. Is that it? That's all you guys got? I don't want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then don't. It's that simple, because I'm not very optimistic. I mean, people are getting their asses kicked. So it's like, I'm not saying that this from a point of optimism, I'm not optimistic about it. It's like I've watched this the last 10 years, and just to watch people deny it and being ignorant of it, I mean, you ever have a cut? Ignore your cut for fucking 2 months, and then you see it. You know, watch it turn to gangrene. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing the gangrene section of, you know, position of ignoring a cut that's been going on for a long time. I mean, a long time, going back to 1933 when they took the gold away. I mean, this is literally all about money, is what this is. We don't have a stake at the table because we don't have any money. So, and I could do hours on that. So it's all connected, Craig and Matt. It's all connected. So the concept of we don't want to hear it, turn it off. You don't have to. Nobody's making
Leo.
it. You know, go back to CNN. Go listen to those guys.
Yeah. But you don't believe it's just about money. I mean, it could be more about money. This could be about a sort of a genocide, ethnic cleansing, you know, like population control. If we're talking about this, we're talking about the people who make the money behind some of this stuff. That's who they could be. I mean, this seems like it's just more with Hawaii. It seemed like a well-managed gentrification. You know, it really did. And so that goes beyond money. It goes not just money, but resources. They want to control everything on the planet, and they think we're useless eaters.
Well, let me qualify what I mean by money, so it's not just a term of propaganda. What I mean by money is that we don't have private transactions. That's what I mean about money, not corporations trying to gain money by gaining land, or, you know, it's less for us, more for them. When I say money, I mean that we don't have a stake. We don't have a stake because we don't have private transactions. We don't have any sovereignty at all, and that was taken away with FDR in 1933 when they took the gold away. That's what I mean about that. We don't have election. We don't have a republic anymore since Lincoln and the civil conflict, calling it civil war. So it's like that. It goes way deeper than that. I know what you're saying, because I say that all the time. People go, well, follow the money trail. Yeah, you could get somewhere with that. I don't doubt that. But that's not what I'm talking about when I say money. So let me just qualify that, Matt. In other words, I agree with you, Craig.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Leo, I'd love to have that deep dive with you, and we certainly want to schedule that with you another time. Is there some advice you could give right now to people that are maybe waking up for the first time and they're seeing like around them, like nothing really makes sense to them? Like where would you tell them to start as far as, you know, asking those questions? Like or actually, let me back up. Where did you start? Where did you first notice that this was something that needed to be looked into? And again, what would you tell people right now that are seeing the stuff not lining up? Where do they begin to try and get these answers?
I would say to begin by getting out of your own way. Because, you know, I mean, and you could say that about anything. Get out of your own way. You know, look at those pictures. Just look at the pictures. These pictures speak for themselves. You know, you look at the language. Just listen to the language. Look at these reporters on CNN. Watch it with open eyes and just go like, wow, they're walking next to all these burnt cars. Why are these trees still there? Why are all these houses on fire? You have offshore winds of 100 miles an hour, supposedly, that had never. Go research that. You'll find that that's never happened. We were talking about a video earlier. Gavin Newsom came out. Listen to what he's saying. He did 3 minutes on the beach at Will Rogers Beach right after all this stuff happened. And he was saying, if you listen to just what he's saying, he said, last Sunday, this is why we have pre-positioned personnel sent Sunday out here in anticipation of this wind event. Then go to the definition of event. It's a pre-planned proposition. So you don't have to it's not cryptic. They're telling you right away what this is.
Yeah.
You know, and then think about that and put that in a court setting. If I was getting prosecuted and grilled by cross-examined, and somebody said, wait a second, you're saying that you were pre-positioned on Sunday? And there's an event coming and you knew it and you didn't say anything and you're a public official. What do you think the jury and the judge is going to say when you come up and just go, climate change and therefore climate change? They're going to say, explain it, and you can't. So put all this stuff in a courtroom setting and just compare it to that. And then you'll start to realize that you've been getting in your own way to understand this stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. Other than that, I love you guys. I'm so sorry. We're gonna come down there and see family, and this is not berating people. It's like, dude, just open your mind and start reading this stuff. We're trying to help you. I'm trying to help you understand this. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. Leo, have you ever looked at when I talk to people about this all the time and they question my thought process on geoengineering? I said, look up Operation Popeye. And they look at it and they're like, oh, wait. Look, they've been doing this for quite some time. Just open your eyes. Just read the words on the paper, man. Thank you so much for your insight, brother.
Right on, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me.
Come on again soon, though.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
brother.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo,
thank you.
Tumamaiit. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna get your name right next time we have you on. We're gonna go through the whole deep dive, man. Thank you so much being a champion warrior for the people. We need more people like you speaking truth to power, because that's what we're about here at the Homo Stuff. Thank you so much again, Leo. Okay.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Craig.
Awesome. Later, buddy.
So we started the conversation hardcore. That's what we did for you guys. We brought on the guy that was going to be asking the harder questions. I appreciate the comments we've gotten. I've gotten some personal texts about it too. I threw that little curveball in there, not curveball, but it was important to kind of take a breath and say, are people upset that we're having this thing? Or is this too early, Craig? Is it too early that we discuss this stuff?
Yeah, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
However, at the same time, and we are going to have our next guest come on shortly. We're going to be getting the NICK CRUSE soon, guys. So that's going to be awesome. We have a great conversation with Nick coming up. We're looking forward to. But I do think it's important in this little window we have right now. We should take a step back and look at some of the stuff that's not lining up. That we might have, I don't want to say skipped over, but we had so much coming at us that I do think it's important we do our top censor news and let people know here are the questions that aren't being asked at all about some of the facts that we know so far in the fires right now. And so I think we need to do that before we start. Yeah, that's going to be top censor news. We're going to do that right now. Before we do that, do you have any thoughts right now on your end, Craig? And I had a tech question because we had some issues on Rumble, and I want to make sure we're all good on Rumble before we get on to the next thing as well.
Let's just, I can reserve my questions for the stuff you got coming up in top censor news. I mean, I think we laid it all out there too as well. I mean, there's crazy stuff going on and stuff that can't be explained. And I think people need to start opening up their eyes. I was on Crosstalk today, and one of the first questions was, what's this Greenland whole, Panama Canal, take it back by force? And it might be crazy, but if you look at, what the Club of Rome proposed years ago was 10 districts of sorts, and where the United States had part of Greenland and all the way down into Central America. And that's what they want. We can no longer ignore what the puppet masters want. And they've left a trail of crumbs, pointing right back to what they've been doing for quite some time. So let's get to the technical question so you can get that fixed with Rumble to make sure we're still there.
Yeah, it's very strange because I was looking at StreamYard saying we're not on there, but then we are. And then I saw that Rumble had this thing where the number kept going up and down. It went down to 0, hiked back up to 50 immediately. I don't think it's a bot problem like we had before. I actually think this is a Rumble technical problem happening right now. So I hope people are still engaged there. I think it leveled out, but again, we have this weird notice from StreamYard that something got disconnected. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's fire related. I don't know, Craig. But Jamie, if you think everything's good on your end, you're looking at it on the back end side for us. I'd appreciate you keeping your eye on that. Is everything good?
It doesn't look good to me. It's up. Like I can see the show. So I can monitor it, and there are people chatting in the chat, but the chat messages
lower
are
your
not
microphone a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can see it. I'm monitoring it. I can see the people. I can see the people in the chat on the actual website, but I can't. The chat messages aren't coming to us on StreamYard, so we can't see them here.
Okay, so the chats got intercepted on StreamYard, but our live is still good.
It appears to still be up, but a lot of people are talking about having problems. I can still watch it though. So I'm looking at it over here on my monitor, and it's up.
Okay.
But I can't chat over there. On the it seems like if you have Rumble Premium, you can chat though.
Okay.
That's the best I got. I'm still trying to see what else I can do.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to keep it going. For comments, I don't know. It's like you got, yeah, it looks like that something went wrong about 10, 15 minutes ago during our interview, but it's okay. We're going to keep rolling with the punches here, guys. And we appreciate all the engagement we've had so far. We have more show for you right now coming up. We have Nick Cruz is on his way in a little bit, but I do think, like we were saying just a minute ago, Top Censored News very important today. We're actually dedicating the whole thing to the fires, and we're gonna go through each thing one at a time here. So let me just set it up. I think we're good on that. Yeah, let's go ahead. And Jamie, if you got the banners ready, that'd be great too. I'm gonna just lead us in, and we're gonna get going on Top Censored News. Okay, let's do it. Here we go.
Uncanceled Comedy Collective presents Top Censored News of the Week.
It's time for Top Censored News of the Week. We are bringing you the stories the mainstream media refuses to cover. If they do cover them, they always do it in a dishonest or sloppy way, and it's always on purpose. This week's Top Censored News, we're focusing on, we're calling it the LA Fires edition, because in the last 48 hours, we've seen the story botched seemingly on purpose by a lot of the mainstream media outlet. We'll give a little more credit to some of the local news because they actually went in there and tried to figure out what was going on a little bit more honestly, it seems. But the mainstream was completely nefarious about this coverage from the beginning. And we're going to start with our number 3. Coming in at number 3. Let's see. Where's our number 3? Here we go. Coming in at number 3. Where did it go? Here we go. Here we go. Coming number 3. They canceled fire insurance on homeowners and then shut off the water. Let's grab what are we talking about, guys? Well, State Farm was one of the culprits in this. And this is accurate. This isn't speculation. This actually happened. Let's take a look at State Farm. Here we go. Number 3. Here it is. Still processing here. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. Okay. State Farm. Look at this. Upscale West Side LA neighborhoods hit very hard by State Farm home insurance cancellations. This is back in April 10th, 2024. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, according to Laura Powell, last year, State Farm canceled 1,600 policies in Pacific Palisades because the state would not allow them to raise premiums enough to cover their exposure. The affected homeowners would then likely have to rely on the state-run Fair Plan, an expensive last resort insurance program, but the Fair Plan reportedly only had a surplus of $200 million as of April, and it was likely to become insolvent and if a catastrophic event occurred, which seemingly it did. Let's look at what some people are saying that are losing their homes in real time. This is a testimony that happened live on local news regarding the insurance of their family member. And we saw pushback to this interview, but I wanted you guys to see this isn't somebody just freaking out and making stuff up. This is based on real life happenings and people getting canceled. So let's see what this person has to say that just lost their home in the Palisades.
Not supposed to be here, but this is my parents' home.
I know the feeling.
And they just they got canceled from their fire insurance. So they're dealing with this. They're 90 years old. And through the state of California, because of this, they're 90 years old, but they've lived in this house for 75 years, and they've had the same insurance, and these insurance people decided to cancel their fire. And we're going through this, and it just happened, and they have no fire insurance. So thank you, California insurance companies, supporting residents who pay taxes and love California. And they wonder why people leave California.
First and foremost, you did get your parents out safely.
I live in Sierra Madre. My parents are in Sierra Madre, but...
And now you know that it is under evacuation as well. No.
So I like how the interviewer changes the subject to first and foremost. I think that was established. I like that. Is that interesting? We had to go back. We always have to go back to the. But you're alive. Everyone's alive, right? No one died. So let's just deflect what she just said. So, what? Any thoughts on that so far, Craig?
No, I mean, this was the mandate that made sure that, it priced people out of the insurance and had the insurance companies drop people's coverage, right? They made sure that only the hedge funds, right, and the BlackRock could have this insurance, but everybody else got priced out. This is the problem with, when government fails, and it fails a lot. But in situations like this is what kind of lends credence to what Leo was saying at the end of the day. Like, it's like they want people gone. They want people dead. They want them out of it. They don't care about you. This is about money, finances, resources, the whole 9 yards. This is about them versus us. And it just seems very awfully suspicious, too, as well, the way these fires broke out in different areas, you know what I'm saying, completely separate from each other. Nobody's really talking about the what. I mean, you hear people talking about these different things. Obviously, you got a bunch of conservatives that are going, the woke policies is what killed this. You got people on the left who are saying this is about Karen Bass giving more money to the police, not the fire department. And people like myself. And that's why I was able to ask Leo that question about the controlled burns that didn't happen. And even though that is important, there are other things to look at. I mean, this whole situation stinks to high heaven. But what's really interesting is that a lot of rich people lost their homes. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they say and how they turn on this whole situation.
Yeah. Well, let's tag on that number 3. We got the water being shut off. And again, there's people push back on this. I saw pushback on that woman who just said her parents got her house insurance gone. The fire insurance they've been paying their whole lives is gone. People are like, oh, she's exaggerating this and that. We heard the same thing about the water not existing. So why don't we hear it directly from the mouth of an actual fireman? Let's see how is he lying? Is he making this up? Let's see.
Here on Lockman Lane, there are several homes burning. This is the one that firefighters were trying to put out a little while ago, but you can see right now it's just kind of out of control. Since then, firefighters have lost water pressure on the hydrant, so they can't get any more water onto this fire and the ones down the hill because of the water pressure issues.
And tag on to that, here's a fireman having to get desperate of how he's going to actually put a fire out when he has no water pressure in the hose. Watch this. This is unbelievable. He's grabbing an orange cone. This is a fireman grabbing an orange cone, putting water from the gutter in it, and putting out the little flame on the sidewalk. This is a guy who's defeated, can't do his job. So, and again, we're getting pushback from the news outlets. We had a local news outlet who had to correct the story, say, we want everyone to know that whoever said something about the water pressure or that there wasn't water, we're not validating that story. Okay, cut to so-and-so, our correspondent is on the ground with more on the fire. And the first thing they say is they have no water. So like, even as the news organization are trying to deflect, trying to change the subject, trying not to cover this stuff, the people on the ground are showing us exactly what's happening. Literally firemen having to show us what's happening as the news organizations are trying to change the subject or say, we don't stand behind these claims. It's unbelievable, Craig. Unbelievable. And that's why this story is at number 3, because that's where we start. We start with this. Insurance is canceled. Water's turned off. Same shit we saw in Lahaina. Same stuff. But we're not allowed to talk about this while the fires are still going, right, Craig? It's too early, right? No. Too soon, right? I'm angry. I'm angry. Just at this alone, just at the insurance and the water. It's not okay. People in LA have been paying taxes their whole lives. California are big on, vote blue no matter who, get your elected leaders, pay your fair share. And then when something like this happens, You lose your insurance before the thing happens. And then when it's time to put the damn thing out, you can't even do that. Where is this money going? We know it's a scam. We know it's all a big play against the people. I just hope more people are waking up to this and they can recognize that even though, ABC 7 might be slightly better than CNN, they're still changing the subject. They're still like going, oh, that's too bad to hear about your parents' insurance. But you're all alive, right? You're all alive, right? Like, so it's like there's no good intention source out there except the people in our space who we have to deal with being canceled and censored and terminated and shadow banned and all that shit. So it's very frustrating. I again, apologies. I'm so angry right now, but this is literally hitting home right now.
Yeah, literally hitting home. Yeah, I know. And one of the things that too is very frustrating is the way they kind of everybody gets tribal about this. They get really partisan. You know what I'm saying? And the process that watching Gavin Newsom going back and forth with Donald Trump and saying, you don't believe in global warming, you're dismissed for this conversation. Like that tells you everything you need to hear. Even if this is about, global warming, why can't we have a conversation about everything involved? And, the tribal behavior, the thing that we push back against again on the show here, they're expressing it right now. They're highlighting it on a regular basis, and it's from both sides. Who kind of? This was the perfect storm. It was the weapons itself was multiple things happening at one time. Who owns and who buys off a lot of the Republicans when it comes to BlackRock, right? They got their money in their pocket, all these hedge funds too as well, to make sure that only they could have the insurance while everybody else had to suffer. It's not just the left, the Democrats, it's the establishment, right? Yeah. The establishment works at one, and they all don't like us. They all hate us.
Yeah. All right, coming in at number 2. Let's do it. Where do we go? Jamie, number 2. All right, here we go. Karen Bass cuts off $17.6 million. There should have been $1 million there in fire department funding, then leaves the country. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, okay. Here we go. From New York Post. LA Mayor Karen Bass cut fire department funding by $17.6 million months before wildfires turned city into hellscape. Insane. This is the actual cuts that she did. This is what people in LA voted for. This is what the Vote Blue No Matter Who crew did. These are the good guys. Look at the millions that she cut, and look what happens at the bottom there at 17.6 million. I think we actually have to, if we want to see what's under that, let's take the banner off and look at that real quick. Fire and then street services. So it's the second worst one, 17.6 million. And we're supposed to be cheering on this team. Like they're good with money. They know how to allocate funds. Again, we don't even have to say this is intentional. Like I'm going to make this the hardest for the people as possible. This at best case scenario, Craig, best case scenario, this is just idiotic stupidity and dumbness. And then as we saw in the opening, well, actually, you know what? Let's see a little more of that. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but if you guys saw the opening, we showed how Karen Bass responded when she got back into the country. And so she wasn't even here. She was in Ghana. She comes back, and this is what she has to say for herself. Literally nothing.
Citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning. Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
He can
She's
shut
thinking.
up.
She's thinking. Yeah.
Elon Musk can shut up too as well.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what a joke. What a joke. Anybody defending this and saying, "Oh no, she's a good guy. She's taking her time. She wants to get her words right." At least she's not Trump, right? At least she's not Trump who just runs his mouth. Could you imagine someone like Trump standing there saying nothing? I mean, are you insane? Like you have nothing to say to the people. It's an utter disgrace. People should be effing furious right now that are standing here with nothing, no home, nothing, gone. And she's got nothing to say. What a joke. let's get to the number one. And this kind of ties everything together, guys. Coming in number one on Top Censored News, the LA fires is officially Lahaina 2.0. And what I'm going to do here to kind of go through this frame by frame, there's a tweet we have from, actually, let me just bring this up. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I didn't have this one ready. Okay, here we go. We have it. This is a tweet from the Patriot Voice. Okay, so let's follow this. And this, I'm glad we spoke with Leo earlier. You guys watched that. We were asking the right questions. Let's look at this. Let's look at what's happening here and why this feels like Lahaina. The LA wildfires are being started by DARPA, direct energy weapons. So again, it's another theory that we are looking into. This time it's Los Angeles. Oh, the 2028 Summer Olympics are coming up. How does that work? Well, it's the same thing that happened in Paradise, California, Lahaina, and near Amarillo, Texas, all areas that will be host to the coming Advanced World Economic Forum, AI governance, smart cities. Okay, so this is where we get the two pictures. So he says, look at these two pictures. I'm gonna put them up here. What do you notice from both of them? And this, we talked about this earlier with Leo. The trees remain intact while homes and buildings are completely destroyed. Do you think this is normal? So you got, yes, this is what we get every time. And we saw this firsthand in Lahaina. Same thing. You saw trees intact, buildings destroyed, like it was targeted stuff. There you go. There you go. What did these have in common? Same thing, same problem. Okay, moving on. On top of that, do you think it's normal for fire insurance? So now we're tying it all together. So now once you start seeing this, you start looking at some of this stuff as worse than incompetence, Craig. Do you think it's normal for fire insurance companies to pull out of neighborhoods months in advance and at random? You think they knew something was going to happen? What about there being absolutely no water, as we showed you earlier, to fight said fires? Think that was accidental? Okay, you could still think it was an accident. You could still think it was incompetence. What about mayor of LA? We just showed you was literally out of the country when it started. Put simply, our government, who is working hard hand in hand with the WEF and BlackRock, is purposely setting fires using military-grade DEWs in these areas to initiate a massive land grab. The reason is because, according to the Olympic Committee and the city of LA, the outdated infrastructure must be completely torn down and rebuilt into AI-governed smart city in time for the Olympics, which is coming up 3 years from now. It is a lot cheaper than eminent domain to burn the whole thing down than to pay out for people's land that they have held on to for many years. This is how they force people to relocate so they can create these cities. And this part's important, Craig, and so I grabbed the end of this tweet. It's very important. I understand it must be a hard pill for some to swallow that their own government would do this to them. But just look what happened on 9/11. So yeah, it is arson being perpetrated by some very wicked people, not climate change, sick, depraved evil, the likes of which most people cannot comprehend. And then this is just finally a screen grab of what they're planting the seeds of this back in August of 2022, where they talk on State Scoop. They talk about redefining smart cities, making that a fun word, Craig. Smart cities is fun, like your smartphone, very fun, while preparing for the Olympics. And it talks about how LA prepares for the 2028 Olympics, and how they're going to do it. What does smart city even mean? So we're putting the pieces together. We're asking the questions that need to be asked. And I'm going to say this for our viewers, how important this is. We apply this to every incident, every issue, every topic. You guys have been watching our shows. We say this: when something happens, it is our job to be skeptical. It is our job to ask questions. It is their job, and they being the people in power, whoever it is, the elected officials, people in the wealthy, the donor class, the media that gets paid by Big Pharma, that get paid by the military industrial complex. It's up to them. The onus is on them to prove us wrong or to answer our questions honestly. If they can prove that there was no nefarious activity or behavior and they check those boxes, then we say thank you for providing it. What we never do is we never say, I'm sorry for asking you that question in the first place, Master. I'm sorry. No, we're never sorry for asking questions, and we'll continue to be skeptical until proven otherwise. That's how we do things.
And here's the thing too. Like, I think that obviously they want to put Karen Bass as a scapegoat, right? Like, and let you believe that if she did have more firemen out there, that this would have been better if she didn't cut that budget, whatever. However, you know, to me, what's really damning is her silence, not willing to speak about this, right? That says to me she's hiding something. And I think she was told to cut that budget so it would make it's a smokescreen. There's something deeper going on over here. And this is why I'm saying we need complete transparency across the board. Lady, open up your mouth, speak. Who told you to cut the budgets? Why'd you cut the budgets? Oh, she doesn't want to say anything because she doesn't want to give a clue on anything. But there was somebody behind that pushing her to do it, and for a certain reason. And that's why we get a lot of this malarkey going on, and we never get to what's going on. It's just like my work with elections. We need transparency across the board. End of story. If the truth blows it up, then so be it. We deserve the truth.
LA fires looking like Lahaina 2.0. And that is top censored news of the week.
Fortunately, we're here to bring you top censored news of the week.
I just wanted to bookend it with that one. But man, oh man, what a show. What a show. Whew. Craig, thanks for doing this with me today. Welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, this is officially our season premiere of The Homeless Left, kicking off 2025 with a bang, as they say. Oh man, are we on fire this year right off the bat, aren't we, Craig? What a way to kick things off. 1 week into the year, and we're in the middle of a disaster. We're literally sitting in the middle of it here in LA. But we keep going. We keep going strong. And we have other news to cover as well, which is very important. Everything kind of ties together at the end of the day. All of our stories tie together because we go into the same populist mindset where we're going in to investigate stuff that doesn't look right, and we try to get to the bottom of it, and we try to stand up for principle and integrity and the rights of the people and the rights of humanity and the rights for people to have their lives, have fulfilling lives and happiness, and to have justice. When things go wrong, we fight for justice for people that can't fight for themselves. We do that with everything. That's why we're so happy to have our next guest on with us, because we have a really good story to get into. Before I introduce him, Craig, anything you want to piggyback on? We want to just get to it.
No, I mean, let's just get to it.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. All right, we're very happy to have back on the show with us to discuss a really, really amazing interview. We champion this type of journalism. He's a friend of the show from Revolutionary Blackout Network. Please welcome back to the show, NICK CRUSE. Hey, Nick.
What's popping, guys?
What's going on, MMA?
Hey, how you guys doing? I watched a little bit of the last segment. I'm gonna say you guys asked the right questions. That's for damn. I was watching like, damn, man. I didn't have a chance to really look into the fire like that. I've seen like the obviously surface level, so that was great coverage. I learned some new stuff for sure.
Yeah, no, we've had some practice at it, Nick, because we, if you don't know, actually, Craig and I met doing Lahaina coverage independently of each other, and then we figured out we were doing the same thing. We had the same intention, which we know you have as well, and that's why we love having us all together here talking today, because it is about asking the right questions and not apologizing for it. I mean, if every once in a while they can come back to us and say, you know what, we hear you, your questions they're good questions. Here are the answers to those questions. It's actually not as nefarious as you might have thought. And we say, oh, thank you for clarifying. That would be awesome if that happened. But again, we would never apologize for the questions we're asking, because they need to be asked, because the mainstream media ain't doing it. So we got to do it. That brings us to why I'm so happy you're here with us today, Nick, because we saw you had a pretty awesome, amazing, important, and effective interview with Roe Khanna just a few days ago. And we took a look at that. I watched it live, and I was like, this is how journalism is supposed to work. We're going to get into your perspective on it, and what I want to know exactly even how you had it happen, or how did it even go down that way, and then we can break it down. But let's start with, I'm going to play a clip so people, if people don't know this happened on Revolutionary Blackout Network. He came on and talked with you, and you went right at it. You went right at it. We're talking anti-war. We're talking about consistency. How can he vote against things he's supposed to stand for? How can you justify? How can you maneuver around being against Russia, but being, you're trying to stand up for people in Gaza, but are you? It's like everything is backwards. Everything's mixed up. You called him on this. Let's look at this clip. I really like this moment you have with him, and then I want to get your thoughts on it. Okay, here we go. Grabbing this one right now. Here we go. NICK CRUSE interviewing Roe Khanna. Here's a clip from that.
And all the food going to Africa comes out of Ukraine.
So, Ro, is it about rare earth minerals? Is it about money, or is it actually caring about the Ukrainian people?
For me, it's about the principle of self-determination. I mean, that's what influenced me growing up, right? My grandfather's struggle against colonialism, the belief that people should have the right to have self-determination of their nationhood. It's why I support a Palestinian state, self-determination for Palestinians. It's why I support a Jewish state of the state of Israel.
Do you support Hamas and the right for Palestinians to engage in self-defense against Israel?
I don't support Hamas.
So you don't support. So Hamas is an organization with Palestinians, correct? Israel is illegally occupying Gaza in the West Bank and committing a genocide according to international courts. If anyone has the right to self-defense, it will be Palestinians, aka Hamas.
Well, look,
so how do you oppose that, but you want to wage war with Russia because the United States is in their backyard?
I come from a tradition of belief that nonviolence demonstration and the tradition of Gandhi or King is what's going to help.
Why not apply it to Ukraine? There was a peace deal on the table,
because that was the invasion of a sovereign state.
Israel's invading Palestine.
I think in case we get a little thing on that Larry David thing. That's great book in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was really too easy. Yeah. It's too easy, and I'm surprised he did it to your question earlier. I'm not interested in talking to politicians. I'm not a guy who interview politicians. I'm interested in educating the proletariat and organizing among us. But I'm more than willing to have someone on my show if they disagree with me on anything. Me and Pasta even had a friendly spar before on RBN. I'm more than happy to talk about issues with people I disagree with, which includes Congress people. Now, Roe, we had an exchange on Twitter that did not go well for him. I ratioed him pretty bad because the progressive left started tweeting about Medicare for all, and I saw the strategic pivot that I once fell for. Whenever there's a Republican in charge, they started tweeting and pretending to be anti-war and extremely progressive, and I called Roe out for it. I'm like, why are you guys tweeting about Medicare for all now when you guys didn't force the vote, you guys didn't push Biden, but now Trump won and Republicans are controlling government, and you guys want to tweet about Medicare for all now? So I wasn't planning a show. I just tweet that out. It didn't go well for Roe. He actually replied to it, and after our exchange, he asked to come on, and the rest is history. And I'm glad I was able to do this because it was very cathartic, because I've been waiting to grill the people I call the NATO left for a very long time on their inconsistencies regarding Ukraine, and that's what you see in that clip there. And these people, they're not even able to intellectually justify the votes they made. Roe Khanna will try and separate himself from genocide Joe Biden. I want to make sure that people understand that he voting for Biden 99% of the time. 99% of the time. So the era where Roe Khanna is going to win over and swoon over the left, that is far since gone. And I think he miscalculated. Maybe he didn't do his research, probably thought that he can come on RBN and sweet talk us like Crystal Cow and thank you. That was not going to happen. I told him up front, like, if you come on RBN, it's going to be adversarial. But he thought he could like win me over, and that absolutely was not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll point this out, and Craig, I'll let you get on this in a second. But my favorite part was when he asked you, would you vote for Bernie today? And you just said, no.
Hell no.
No. Why should we support people who want to wage war on Russia? And the look on Roe's face, you nailed it. He was not prepared. He had no idea. He thought he would get you on that would be your little uniting moment. And you were like, no.
Bonding moment.
Yeah, that's what he was hoping for. So I mean, that's what happened. I think so. Yeah. If you want
and Roe, people give him a lot of credit. I think he does deserve credit But there's a coordinated strategy that because after the Democrat devastating loss, they want to come on more independent shows. Now, obviously, they're not going to send like a Chuck Schumer to us, right? They're going to send a person they view as the most progressive among us, which is Roe Khanna, to try to win back the people they lost after their support of the genocide in Gaza, their support of the Ukraine war in Cop cities. So their plan after getting destroyed by Trump is to come on the outlets and try to start a new Bernie 3.0 movement using independent media. The problem is they completely miscalculated because I had people to my left that criticized me for supporting Bernie. I think they made legitimate points in 2020, but my support for Bernie in 2020 was contingent on this being the last time. So the reason why you see Roe, his face deflate, we asked that question because when I answered the question that way, because he's realizing he's wasting his time. He thought that this was going to be an experiment to help rebuild the Bernie coalition for his incoming presidency, AOC's incoming presidency in 2028. He realized that wasn't going to happen. He realized at that point he was wasting his time. And yeah, he did a good job finishing the rest of the interview because obviously a politician, he don't want to look bad. You know what I mean? He don't want to make headlines. But the second that I told him that I wouldn't vote for Bernie, you can tell that he realized that he wasted his time coming on here. And he's like, all right, let me just get this interview out of the way. Because the rest of his arguments was, as you guys see in the interview, very incoherent and easy to swat down. I think you guys could do the same thing. People praise me, but I think anyone in our community could do the same thing because that's how intellectually weak our current ruling class is.
Yeah. I think that that was a really good interview, and a lot of things that you pointed out, I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more elaboration on the whole Russia thing, but I love the fact that you pointed out Matt Duss. Like, hello, listen, one of Bernie Sanders' #1 foreign policy advisor was Matt Duss. If you don't know, boys and girls out there who are listening, Matt Duss came for the Center for American Progress, Neera Tanden's group right now. You know what I'm saying? That's where he was at one point. Neocon as can be, was all for that Russian invasion. But the thing I think that was best that came out, and I only watched the first 30 minutes, and I'm going to continue on.
That's most of the interview.
Yeah. So I watched 30 minutes. I didn't see you get out of there with him, and I want to watch the rest of it. But I think that what Roe Khanna did, first of all, let's give him guts for coming on with you, too, as well. He knew it was going to be adversarial. But the fact is that I'm a poker player, and what he did is what a lot of the Democrats are doing is they're tipping their cards. They're showing us a tell. And that tell is they're going to still try to make this argument around Russia being that Vladimir Putin, without proof, tried to recreate the old Russian Empire, the old USSR, and that's what he did. It was completely illegal. It was unprovoked. And we have to understand and know that, well, wait a second, what about Minsk 1 and 2? For 8 years, Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation sat back and tried to negotiate. And you pointed it up beautifully that if it was a bunch of Mexican people killing American people on the border over there and they lobby, they would do the same thing. And you pointed out it was a proxy. So I think that now that we have the knowledge and they're going to still continue this effort to try and dupe the people and make it feel like Vladimir Putin is Thanos and he was just trying to take up land rather than the fact that it was a proxy war on his border. And, what Fiorella had told me is that when she got to Russia, she understood that a lot of people, even though they don't want this war, they're exhausted for this war, they felt that Vladimir Putin and the Russian Federation dragged their feet and should have gotten involved earlier. And now we know Lindsey Graham, McCain when he was alive. We had Democrats too as well that were carpetbagging in there, whether it be Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi's son, Paul Biden, Paul Biden. It's the same freaking creature these people are. But the fact that they showed their hand and they're going to still try to push this argument, I think that's a lot of ammunition for us independent media field to go back and push back. Don't you agree, Nick?
Yeah, and in my post analysis, and I admit that I could have handled his Putin pushback better. He kind of caught me off guard where he was because I wasn't expecting him to lob me a question. He said, "Well, you got to admit that Putin is wrong in invading Ukraine." And I would have loved to bring up the fact that many people in the Donbass and Eastern Ukraine was supportive of the Russian military action, and they voted to join Russian force. So I will 100% acknowledge that I could have pushed back better, but I was kind of threw off guard by the question. because I think we should remind Westerners that Russians do have the right to defend themselves and defend their sovereignty. And that's why I brought it up to Mexico. That was my attempt to recover when I realized I could have answered that question.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
Yeah.
I would have thrown in Minsk 1 and 2. Minsk
Yeah.
1 and 2 is another weapon where Putin used the international courts, the institutions, to try and get them to pull out and leave the people of Donbass alone. So I think you did a really good job there.
For sure. Yeah. I was always critical of what I could say as well. And I remember thinking, I said this in the post show. Y'all know you didn't get that far, but I was like, man, I really wish I could have said something different, because I said something along the lines like, yeah, I think you could critique Putin. So I didn't like that answer, to be honest, but that was just what I came up with at the time. But in the West, they laid out as Russia didn't have any legitimate claim to self-defense. But when you look at the Nazis and when they strolled through to Moscow, they came through Ukraine. When you look at the atrocities that Napoleon committed, it was through Ukraine. So even though I'm not from Russia, I 100% understand why Russians don't want any foreign influence in Ukraine. And I probably should have said that directly, but I did the allegory to Mexico. But the Ukraine war, and that's why I'm glad I had a chance to push Roe, because we only got to like the first layer of the Ukraine, but there's so many layers of what makes the left supporting the proxy war in Ukraine so nefarious. We couldn't even get to all of them. Like, for example, just ideologically, principally, I'm against funding Banderite Nazis in Ukraine, the same Nazis that Roe Khanna used to call out. And now these same people would like to deny that these people are fascists. They like to deny and say that these people was rehabilitated. But we know that fascism is simply how you organize the relationship between labor and capital. And in Ukraine, they banned the right to collective bargaining. They banned the right for workers to join a union. They banned socialist parties. You want to know the first thing that Nazi Germany did? You want to know what the first thing Mussolini did? They banned socialist parties. They banned the right to collectively organize. So whenever you have these people that want to say, oh, there's no Nazis in Ukraine, their government is literally engaging in fascist policies. So if you want to defend that, if you want to arm those people, we are going to have a problem. So I'm glad I finally, because I've been waiting to grill the NATO left on Ukraine. And that's why I'm glad that Roe came on and gave me the chance to do that.
Matt, really quickly, I just want to also say that the little seed you planted there. Am I correct to hear that you also kind of mentioned when he was trying to talk about Bernie? Because we used to say Bernie's the compromise, especially people like us, me and Fee and yourselves, who are involved in foreign policy. Did you mention like a Kosovo or a Belgrade kind of that you mentioned in there about Bernie? Because that was one of the things what we used to hold against Bernie, is the fact that he supported that war in Kosovo and the bombing going on. Did I hear you mention something that there? I think I heard something.
I don't know if I use Kosovo as a specific example. I'm not sure if I say that specifically, but I did bring up to Roe the reason why I would never support the Bernie Sanders campaign ever again is because I grew up under the Iraq War. And Roe, Bernie, and AOC, I said this many times in the last 2 years, they grossly miscalculated. Like, they thought that the Ukraine war could be something that would be like, oh, just a small blight on my record. Yeah, I support the Ukraine war, but come on, I support Medicare for all too. No, to me, you supporting the Ukraine war is the same as someone being like a hardcore homophobic bigot, which is why I asked them the question. This is why these people are morally bankrupt, because they will never, ever vote for someone who was a hardcore homophobic bigot. Like someone, I'm not talking about someone who hides it. Like, imagine someone who ran on it. Like, that was like their key thing. Would they vote for them? No. So if you wouldn't vote for someone who is an anti-gay bigot, why would you vote for someone who's an anti-Palestinian racist? Why would you vote for someone who support Banderite Nazis in Ukraine? Which is something I was probing them on. I've been probing these people ever since I left the Bernie movement. Where's the red line? Is there a red line? And if there's no red line between what stops you from supporting your party, what exactly is the difference between you and MAGA? What is actually the difference between you and a George W. Bush supporter? Because I thought that progressives, something I used to consider myself, I thought we was above that. And there was a time where I was misinformed and I supported Bernie. But the second that they crossed my red line, my character, my moral values, I made the adjustment. Pasta knew me for a while. I made the adjustment. The lack of the adjustment, it's pretty unreasonable to make it so people are never wrong. But if you're not making adjustments on your moral character when people cross your red line, that is deeply problematic. And that is exactly what I've seen from Roe Khanna, AOC, and Bernie Sanders, where he I'll give you one example. I'll pass it back to you guys. He said, y'all, I opposed the DNC not allowing Palestinians to speak. What do you mean you opposed it? Yeah. You still voted for them.
Yeah.
And do you understand how that if I was uneducated, that alone, like imagine if you was born yesterday, that alone would be enough for me to quit a party. Because think about what they did. These are Palestinians that are sellouts. They are, and they're not coming from me. I talked to many Palestinians. They are despised among the Palestinian Community Network. The people that was wanting to speak at the DNC. These are Palestinians who wanted to endorse Kamala Harris. But the racism in the Democratic Party was so thick, they prevented them from speaking. So according to Roe, and most Democrats, they would never vote for someone who was anti-gay, right? But they wanted to vote for a party that is so bigoted towards Palestinians that they wouldn't even allow a Palestinian that was going to endorse Kamala to speak. Like, isn't that alone a deal breaker? If that's not, how can you claim to have more?
No, Nick, they let Little John sing "Burn Down" for what? Turn down for what? We were there.
I feel so represented. After that.
I'm going to go a little further on where they actually do draw their line, Nick, because I actually think the Democrats have conditioned their own selves so hardcore beyond having a red line. I don't think that you can actually draw the hypocrisy anymore on the whether they vote for somebody against gays. I think they're at a point they've conditioned themselves that when you need to stop a meteor from hitting the earth, which could be COVID, it could be Trump, whatever, Putin, you'll do anything to stop it, which means you will align with anything that's going to compromise your values. So I do think he would vote for an anti-gay person if it was someone that could stop Trump, if it was someone that could stop COVID, if it was someone that could stop the thing that you're supposed to be deathly afraid of. You're willing to compromise your principles for those, and because you're not wired that way. You're saying, of course we have a red line, and he's looking at you like, no, there really isn't a red line at all. We all have to do our part to stop evil Putin, and that's it. So I'm not gonna. Yeah, there's no red line at all. And I love that you. Again, I go back to that moment on his face when you said no, I wouldn't vote for Bernie, and I would have added in this part. I would have said I'm not going to vote for a guy who actually has people arrested at his rallies, the Code Pink people who showed up to put his own tweets up, and he has them arrested because he can't look at his own tweets about why getting involved with Ukraine, Russia is going to be wrong, and they were just holding up his own tweets. So that's the kind of censorship they're having in their own party. And I just think this red line thing, I think that you're pulling the curtain back on the fact that the Democrats don't seem to have any red line at all about anything.
Yeah, and I could easily see them. Like you said, I can easily see them voting for an anti-gay bigot. But if you have no principles, you can't pretend to have the moral high ground. They will call us Trumpers because we are critical of the Democrat. I know that happened to you guys. People accuse you of being Trumpers. Oh yeah. And the crazy thing about liberals, they don't even realize that I despise Trump. Like saying, like the idea of MAGA taking control of the government, that is deeply problematic to me. But the liberals, they committed crimes so bad, they are so evil that I'm like, they're no different. They don't even realize that. They assume that because you oppose their crimes, that you're somehow approving of MAGA. It's how the red-blue game programs people, so we constantly at a race to the bottom. And that's what we had at this point in America, where during the election, I commented at the time, it was literally people on the right pretending to be offended at things that people on the left are saying, and then people on the left pretending to be offended at things that the right. That's essentially our politics, because you had Donald Trump essentially saying that any American who opposes the Israeli genocide is garbage. So that's Donald Trump trashing Americans. Then you have Biden and Democrats saying anyone who don't support them are deplorables. It's the same race to the bottom that you get from the duopoly, and your moral character degrade by continuing to support these cults. And I think people like Roe, who's otherwise smart, who has like a law degree and all this shit, they don't even realize how much they are being programmed until they run into a citizen journalist like us. Like he never stood a chance because he didn't even understand the arguments that we were making even though I knew everything that he was going to say.
And other cards he tipped off, by the way, he kind of mentioned like the Arab leagues as a way of saying, the Arab leagues, they're, first of all, a lot of them are monarchs that are propped up by the United States, and they're negotiating with a gun to their head. Like if they don't agree, their own country can get wiped out, right? So they have to kind of go along. And also the fact that he mentioned the American Rescue Plan, which is nothing more than a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. And I think these are very, once again, tipping their cards and understanding that these bills have pretty names and they sound like they're going to help people out. And he used the same talking point that Biden used and Bernie used, was like, this is reducing poverty in children. Yeah, for how long? Until that's taken away, until it runs out. It might help you for a couple months, but it's not going at the actual core systemic problems we had. And I think it was also awesome the way you got him on a lot of those things too as well, Nick.
Yeah, and we have a record amount of medical debt. We have a record amount of people on homelessness. That's why as soon as he started getting to that liberal spiel about American rescue plans, I knew he didn't do his research, because I don't accept the ridiculous capitalist metrics that they put on us. They said we have this amazing economy and workers are simply too dumb to understand how the economy is doing, because they're using their metrics. The metrics that actually matter to the working class, the Democratic Party has failed. So it was unbelievable that Roe came on RBN and thought he can trick us with all these things, quoting the Arab League. And trust me, Pasta, I had 45 minutes and I wanted to make sure I get certain things. But he said so many things I wanted to. I could have took individually and dismantled. But for sake of time, I don't let a few of those things go about how out of touch that he was, and to think that he could trick us, and to think that they have their our best they had the best intentions to fight for us is absurd. It's already been proven they don't. And even if there wasn't hardcore ideological disagreements between me and Roe, the idea of him turning us into Democrats is delusional. Now, Roe, AOC, and Bernie would have been way better served. They would have been way better served if they followed our direction, fought as hard as they could, and failed. Like, can you imagine if they fought the establishment, but they failed? Like, they would be heroes.
Yeah,
but the reason why they dead and the reason why they stand no chance is because not only did they not fight, they surrendered. Like, can you imagine if AOC, Roe Khanna, and all these people, Jamal Bowman, forced to vote, even if we had a bad strategy, because they argued that our strategy was bad. Let's say they was right. Let's say they was right, but they still forced to vote and we failed. They will be seen as heroes. I still believe that Jamal Bowman will have his seat. Yeah. I think Cori Bush will still have their seat if they fought and they failed. The problem is they didn't fight, they surrendered, which means there is zero chance of them ever winning us over.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz used the force the vote tactic to get rid of the speaker. I mean, we have to rely on Republicans to use force the vote. I was just like,
hey, they're better at it, but hey, we're Trumpers for calling it out that they're better at it. So we can't win either way. It's hilarious. But yeah, I would leave it one last question about Roe, Nick, before we get you out of here. We saw discussions after the interview. People were kind of debating whether Roe was a useful idiot or he knew exactly what he's doing. And so has your opinion changed since that interview about where you think he falls? Because I know people are kind of split on that. We'll probably give our feedback in a second, but where are you on like percentage wise? What percentage of him is useful idiot versus he knows exactly what he's doing?
Roe is a really talented politician. And the reason why I say that is because I can't tell. My instinct tells me he don't believe anything he says, because that's what I know how politicians they just say whatever their donors say. But there's a mechanism where if you are entrenched in liberal propaganda for I'm talking about like this is your life and this is Roe Khanna's life. There's a certain part, and I can tell that there's a certain part among the liberal class where they start to believe their own bullshit. You know, like obviously they are bullshitting us, but after a while they start to believe. They start to legitimately believe. I think Roe is a mix of both of those things, where he obviously says stuff that is meant to trick us, but at the same time he believes that he is such in the right to the point where he can come on my show. Like, because if he didn't believe in some of that stuff, right? he will have no confidence in defending it. Like, does that make sense? The fact that he even went on my show and thought that he can trick and change my opinion means that he must believe some of it.
I don't know. I don't know. There's the Zionist mindset. They know how to deflect with that. There's that, right? Where you're like,
for sure.
You have your little deflections ready, and like, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? So like, it's not always like fully believing it. Sometimes it's about winning the argument at all costs. Maybe there's some
and
of
to that comment that you put up there, that's why I think Roe's talented, because I can't legitimately tell. Like, there are some people that you can tell. They're, with everything they say, Hakeem Jeffries, he don't believe a goddamn thing that's coming out of his mouth. He's saying exactly what his donors. And Roe is kind of, to me, maybe I'm delusional. Call me out if I am delusional.
No, I think you're hitting it on the nose. I think you're hitting it on the nose. Like, you can tell that Hakeem Jeffries is just like what's his name from the Senate. Who's the leader of the Senate and the Democrats? Help me out. Oh my Lord. Chuck Schumer. You could tell they don't believe in what they're saying. They just, you know what I'm saying? But these people are narcissists, they're sociopaths, and eventually they start believing their own BS. And I think Roe is one of those guys who really believes his own BS. Just like there's still a lot of leftists out there, they call them leftists, that believe that the Democratic Party is the lesser of the two evils, and it ain't. It's the establishment. It's one party. At least that's the way I feel.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It.
Well, hopefully, I mean, these type of interviews are important because people are able to see it directly, that he's tongue-tied. He can't answer these questions. He's got that look on his face. We need more of this, but we lose our access journalism when we get harsh like this. So I hope we can continue to have these moments. So I appreciate you were able to pull this thing off. I don't know if he's going to want to come back on and talk to you again after that, but
I don't know if he's bullshitting, but guys, he said he wanted to do it again.
Like, he did.
Roe Khanna is a madman, man. I don't know if he was bullshitting after the game. Apparently, they said I heard from an aide that Roe enjoyed the conversation. I don't know that.
Who else could do what he did? Who else could do what he did in the Democratic Party? Listen, they have no choice but to speak to some of us. There was nobody in that Democratic Party that could do what he could do. That's it. He's like the only one.
He might be a masochist. Is that the thing?
Yeah, that's what brother Nico said. My hotspot brother Nico was talking about that. Because I think he got the assignment. You know, I saw AOC went on Sam Cedar, which is obviously Sam Cedar milquetoast, but according to AOC, Sam Cedar like fucking Malcolm X. So that's like AOC taking a risk going on Sam Cedar show. So Roe got the AOC is too important though to the party. You know what I mean? They can't have her doing risky stuff. They're willing to sacrifice a Roe though. So they told Roe, we need you to go on a few independent media channels. We need you to win some of these Bernie bros back over. So I think that's another reason why he really, God damn, I gotta do that again. Hakeem tells me to do it. So maybe it's a bit of both, but he definitely a madman because they said they want to do it again, which is interesting.
All right. Cool. Nick, hey, show us where we can find you. Hey, Jamie, you want to bring that up? The Revolutionary Blackout Network. There we are. Socialist MMA. We can follow.
Make sure you guys follow my homies at Hotspot as well. Nico's killing the game. I release about 4 or 5 videos a week for Hotspot. Make sure you guys follow us on RBN. I did a live stream with Nico earlier today. And actually now thinking about it, it's been a while since we had Pasta on. So I need to bring you guys on as well. So make sure you guys check us out. We need to continue to grow this independent media apparatus because the liberals are down. The Democrats, they're in shambles. So we're going to be there to pick up the people who are looking for a political direction. And here soon, Donald Trump is going to sell out MAGA. It's predictable. He's going to sell them out. Yeah. And then Trump supporters are going to need somewhere to go. And that's where our job is, to pick up the people who are tired of the status quo and give them a direction. So make sure you guys check us out on RBN and check me out on Hotspot.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Nick, for dropping by with us. Great conversation. Nick Cruz, RBN. We'll be in touch again. And I'd love to come on and continue the conversation for sure. Power to the people, power in numbers with us all. We
should go visit Nico, all of us.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was telling Nico that's gonna happen.
Oh, wow.
I've already been there. I haven't been to that part, but I'm going up there to go see him for sure.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one, y'all.
You too, Nick. All right. Okay. Great discussion. Great discussion. I like breaking these things down because it inspires me that we can have these moments happen. That Nick was able to get with Roe Khanna. We can do it. Obviously, AOC is not going to come on a show, any of ours, but just having that kind of puts a little hope, I think, in me that we can have these conversations and have them be on record. People can see this stuff. It's not going away. People can watch this right now. You guys can finish our show. Go watch the full interview with Nick and Roe Khanna. It's great that it's out there. I love it. So, okay, we're moving on here. Let's go ahead and do you want to take a minute or two, or are you good?
Is Leslie's part now, or do we have some more?
I've not heard back from Leslie yet. We're going to find that out within the next half hour, I believe, if that's happening. But we have a real fake news update.
Let's do it.
I want to get to. You want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Today we actually wanted to cover a bunch of stuff on real fake news, but it's too much, guys. I mean, you guys know the stuff with Trump and all this stuff he's been doing with the Canada stuff. We could talk about that and the Gulf of America stuff and all that. And then there's a lot there. There's a lot there. The way the media
Greenland, baby.
Yeah. But I think just today, being that we're covering the fires here in LA right now, we're gonna focus on Trump versus Newsom because that's very current, very now, and we're gonna see how CNN is covering that. So I'm gonna intro this. Why don't let me set? You know what? I feel better if I set the videos up first before I play the intro. But that's gonna be our focus today. Let's see. Give me 1 second. If you want to say something in the meantime, tell people where they can find us while I'm setting up this segment here, Craig.
Okay, well, guys, you can always find Matt at the Homeless Left. He's got a Rumble out there too as well, and you can always join on in. What's the YouTube channel today? What's it called?
So we have our new YouTube. Jamie, if you want to grab it off the banners, it's our new YouTube we're experimenting with. It's THL Presents on YouTube because, as you guys know, the Homeless Left on YouTube got terminated. It no longer exists. All of our followers, all of our videos, all of our everything, all gone. So we're trying to do a different name. I know you guys, told me be careful. They're just going to do the same thing again. Oh, well, they do the same thing again. Fine. I don't want to say I don't care, but I just think it's the right thing to do to keep it. We're not going to stop. We're going to keep going at it. That's how I look at it. That's kind of my take on it. Here we go. I think we're okay. We got that one almost ready. Oh, look at that.
Where's that from? What's the YouTube again?
It's THL Presents. Actually, I can grab. It's right here. I can grab it. Yeah. Oh, that's it. There we are.
Where? I can't. Let me see. Where's a link? I need a link.
Well, it's on. I put it on
at THL Presents. That's why it's not coming up.
Yeah, you have to put the ad in. Everybody, everybody knows that, right? That YouTube, you put the at for just like I think Rumble's doing the same thing now with the at. And then so we're just trying that out, just throwing it up there, and we'll see how long we go. But we just started this up, so hopefully, hopefully we're around.
Where'd the super chat come from?
Yeah, where did the super chat come from, James?
I think that's coming from Nick's stream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he did a share. Okay.
Very good. He shared on his channel as well.
Very good. Okay. So we'll see how long we last with THL Presents. We just have to be careful. I'll be careful about the Israel stuff, the big pharma stuff. We'll see. I'll try and be careful, but they're either going to find us or they won't. They're either going to get rid of us or they won't. I don't know. Whatever, man. We got to try something. We got to let them know we're not going to go away. We're still at it. We appreciate our Rumble supporters. We appreciate that, Elon still lets us, be free on Twitter, even if he's going to shadow ban us. At least he doesn't cut off our feed. At least Peter Thiel and JD Vance, at least these guys they're not cutting off our feed on Rumble. I know that's like very little to ask, but it's everything for us that we can at least exist. We'll figure out the shadow banning together. We'll figure out the demonetization problem together. But as far as us existing, we get to exist on Rumble and Twitter. We don't get to exist on YouTube. They pull the plug. They say your channel doesn't exist anymore. All your work is gone. All your videos are gone. All your followers are gone. everything's gone. That's not okay. We hate YouTube. I mean, I'm sorry. We love YouTube. We're back. Hey guys, we're good. No, they're not good. Let's see how long we last with them this time.
I also put my link for my YouTube in the chat. So if you guys want to, since a bunch of people from RBN are coming over and subscribing, so subscribe to my YouTube before they take it down too as well. And of course, you can find me at YoPasta on everything else.
Okay, great. Okay, let's get into the real fake news update. Here we go. It's time for a real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. Today, we're focusing on the LA fires, which are ongoing right now. We're here in LA. We're watching the town go down in flames. Those of us who are left, we're angry, we're pissed off. And when we see a moment where Newsom gets to the governor of our state, who is, as we know, is nefarious as ever. We've been covering him our whole show. We've been covering all of his nefarious actions, including more recently, the missing $26 billion for homelessness gone, Cayman Islands account, multi-million-dollar homes he's buying. We're seeing a state of emergency for bird flu. You guys remember that? That happened. So we were in a state of emergency before these fires happened. I want to remind people on that timeline. That's important. So what does Newsom do? Of course, he's got to have his photo op. Here's his little photo op where he's pretending. I just take that's just fire and sounds. He's not saying anything. He's just looking like, we'll play that again. He's just looking like he's doing anything. That's his little photo op with the sunglasses and, oh, look what's going on. Oh, look at all those houses burned down. That's great. Okay. Way to go, Newsom. Well, guess who's not taking to Newsom's theater very well? Well, we have Donald Trump. This tweet goes out. One of the best, and this was I think this was first on his Truth Social. This was Truth. Yeah, you got the red check mark. This is the Truth Social. One of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground. It's ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault. So I guess my question to people is, if you didn't vote for Donald Trump, which we didn't, we're not championing the guy, but if you didn't vote for Donald Trump, or if you did, whatever, either way, where do you think the story is? Do you think the story is, oh my God, Donald Trump used foul language and called him new scum? How dare he does that? Or do you think the story is the things I led in with this show about, where we just told you, we reminded you about the bird flu state of emergency. We remind you about the money laundering. He's got $26 billion missing from homelessness. We remind you about all this stuff. So what do you think CNN is going to do when they send Anderson Cooper out to the fire area, to the disaster zone? As we know, they love sending Anderson Cooper out there to get a interview with Gavin Newsom. If Anderson Cooper's a journalist, then he's going to ask Newsom to answer these questions, regardless if you think Trump is being mean or not. I would assume a journalist is going to ask Newsom about the things I just pointed out. Well, let's see what he actually decides to ask Gavin Newsom about and see Newsom's response. This is what we call theater. This is, as Donald Trump coined back in 2015, this is fake news. Check it out.
We're in the public safety phase.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to a president of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
He stood next to the president of the United States, who flew on in on Air Force One to do his humanitarian, I'm here for all the people. And as Gavin Newsom says, and he's not lying, guys, he's not lying. He told us just now that Biden is for every person here in LA. Everybody's lost their home. He's got their back. You want to take my word for his word? How about we watch what Biden actually said with Newsom standing next to him? This is the actual conversation he's referring to. Here it is.
Notification yesterday their home was probably burned down. today. Parents are maybe still standing, I'm not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great grandfather as of today. I have a granddaughter, and a baby girl, a baby boy. So I remember this day for a lot of long reasons. Thank you, Brett.
Very amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody. Make your way out. Thank you, Brett. Thank you so much. Make your way out. Make your way to the park. Please go this way. Thank you.
Press. We're going out this way. Thank you. Thank you, press. We're exiting. Press. We're walking out. Thank you.
And that's it. That's it. There's your theater, folks. There's your fake news for the day. Anderson Cooper. Newsom, I hate to ask you this. I hate to ask you, are you upset this bully came after you as he's standing in front of somebody's house burning down behind him as he's smirking and been pretending to be upset by Trump and then assuring us that President Biden has everyone's back, and then cut to a story about Biden becoming a great grandfather. He has nothing more to say. The guy has lost his ability, his mental capacity. No more questions. He's back on Air Force One. He's back to D.C., probably back there already right now as we speak. I'm passing you, Craig. I am livid watching this as we're here in L.A., watching people's homes and lives burned to the ground as this theater is going on CNN.
Yeah. It's the theater to make us play politics all the time. It's kind of crazy the fact that Gavin Newsom is saying there, I didn't politicize this whole situation. I'm here. These people are lost everything, and this guy just wants to politicize stuff. That's all you do is politicize stuff. I mean, you really, on your tweet, you wrote down that you don't believe in climate change. You don't belong in this discussion. And the same people that control Gavin Newsom are the same people that control Donald Trump. At the end of the day, none of them care for you. And that's what's important to remember, because you're going to see people from both sides who constantly play team sports politicize this situation themselves. You're going to see the Republicans blame the Democrats blame the Republicans, right? And it's just, it's nauseating at this point. And we're not getting transparency at all. And we're just caught in this quagmire of left versus right, team sports at its finest moment, at its highest degree too as well. But I'm hoping that some people break through, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm going on shows speaking about stuff that the Democrats are still doing to this point and stuff that the Republicans and the MAGA base are doing, moving into the positions of power. So put your seatbelts on. This is very crazy with this fire here in LA, these fires in LA. And it seems like Lahaina 2.0. I'm getting people texting me right now as they saw us and stuff like, dude, I've been thinking about this. This seems just like Lahaina 2.0. Yeah. Do you see a lot of similarities? And the only thing I could say is, yes, I see a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Look, you can be mad at Trump for language, or sometimes he does present like a businessman. Sometimes he does tend to be about what's the economic problem here, which there is clearly an economic problem. I mean, this can't be nobody's coming out of this okay. All these celebrities, we're going to talk about that in the HOLLYWOKE segment about the celebrities losing all their houses and everything. But you can't ignore that Trump called this shit out. He did it again. So he had a press conference today. Let's play a little bit of this. And then I want to talk about the Joe Rogan thing, because this is very interesting. And if we could be a little more honest about how we assess this stuff, again, you didn't have to vote for Trump. You don't even have to like the guy. But if he's calling out the California fire problem and he's calling out Newsom, we need, as independent media people, we need to be honest about how we respond to that and say, is he onto something? Is he actually saying something that we need to listen to? Whether you like the guy or not. This is a clip from his press moment he just had earlier today. This was just an hour or two ago, right? Or this just happened right before we started the show. Check this out.
Believe that federal aid should be provided to California for as long as it takes.
Well, it's very sad, because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called a smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So What's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California.
So look, I want to be clear here. Look, you don't have to like the guy. I'm saying it again. He seems to be definitely his number one priority is the economic repercussions of what's happening. He's not like saying, "Oh, my, hearts and prayers or thoughts and prayers." He's not doing any of that. But just put this speech right up against Joe Biden, who just talked about becoming a great grandfather and getting an applause and getting back in Air Force One. And then our previous clip we played earlier in the show with Karen Bass, literally with her mouth shut, going mute for minutes without anything to say. You have to admit, Craig, Trump is the only one here by default that looks presidential here. What is the problem with the CNNs and the viewers and the Vote Blue No Matter Whoers not understanding that? They still think Trump is the biggest problem of this scenario. What the hell is going on? Why are people not seeing that?
The main scene, well, I don't know. It's selective hearing. It's confirmation bias, right? We're in the team sports mentality, so people are going to just choose to take the information they want to hear. But I do want to go a little detour off to the side, staying on the same topic. He looks the most presidential because the Democrats just look lost. And this is what you have. This is what you get when you have selections and not elections. You get, just the company man, as Al Pacino used to say, company man, the guy who just goes along, says whatever, a person who's not there based upon their performance. They're getting that job based behind rubbing elbows and doing whatever they have to do for the person who put them in charge. And that's why you have people who are going silent. And this has been going on for quite some time. When I got involved in elections, I was talking about the little guy, the grassroots people. And look what's happened. If you don't have the ability to fire people for doing a bad job, they're going to continue to do a bad job and only going to represent the donor. And that's what Gavin Newsom has been doing for quite some time. He hasn't earned his position. He's been given it to him. That whole recall he had was such a fraudulent thing when they recalled him. And he just used that recall to implement laws that a lot of people in the populace didn't even want. So, I mean, it's just this is more of the same that we're seeing playing out. And people have to start getting a hold of this whole situation and realizing the only way we can get to some form of justice is starting with transparency, opening up the doors and seeing everything, what they're doing, where they're taking their money, how they're taking their money, how they're spending the money. Everything that Donald Trump said there is said by somebody else. And he is a little misleading in one point, right? Like he's talking about the smelt and the water that's going out to the Pacific. We don't need the water from this smelt. We have the aqueduct. We need to use the water wisely. But just like the Republicans did during George W. Bush with the rolling blackouts and Enron and all those same other people who were responsible for that situation. And then it wasn't just Enron, meaning lights being turned on. We're talking about people freezing in Texas at one point, right? This goes on whether it be a Democrat or Republican, because at the end of the day, the donors who support both the Democrats and the Republicans, the donors who support Donald Trump, those are the ones who are going to benefit from this. So they like to keep us in this this left versus right paradigm. What's going on is that the fact is that they do have the water and it's not being allocated properly. Did somebody turn this off? What is going on? We need answers here, and we're not getting it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to, on the right, want to say, oh, it is woke policies with this smelt and whatnot, and they're doing this. No, listen, this is old school mafia-style embezzlement, right? This is taking money from the taxpayer dollars, acting like you're doing something and putting it in your cronies' pockets and your self pockets and getting your kickbacks. That's what this is, and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, 100%. And these are the conversations we're supposed to have. That's what you're supposed to push back on Trump about. What you said, that not pretend that he's some sort of just bully going after Newsom and lying. Like the fact is, look, he was on Joe Rogan. The more people saw that podcast. This is before the election. Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. More people saw that than any. I think that they're saying any podcast. It was his number one podcast ever. He was already the number one podcast. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I don't know if you remember that, Craig. They said that was the number one watched podcast we've ever seen. And on that show, it was like a 3-hour interview. He spent, I'm going to bring this tweet up. This just to remind you guys, this happened. There's a lot of people who saw this. So Colin Rugg tweeted this out. Donald Trump was mocked for sounding the alarm on California water fire crisis during his interview with Joe Rogan. Turns out he was right. He spent nearly 7 minutes ranting about the issue, blasting Newsom for doing nothing to fix the problem. Can we play a little bit of the Jamie? Can you scroll? I can't scroll it on it because it's your thing. Let's just play a little bit of it because he's talking about this on Rogan. Can you scroll that? There we go. There was another section where he talked specifically about the fire problem. I don't know how far into
I know what Joe Rogan said. He was talking about somebody came on the show and said there's nothing they can do about it. If it happened, there'd be a fire and that's it. And they're not doing anything to prevent this.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of what we talked about with Leo, right? Like Leo did point out something at the end of the day. It's like, yeah, well, there's something bigger than the fact that they're not just raking the yard is what they're calling, raking all the dead wood out there and stuff like that. I think, once again, this is a multifaceted attack. Many things happen at once to cause this disaster. And at the end of the day, it is about money and about those who are choosing to grab all the land and the resources. Like I said, there's not a lot of lies there that Joe Rogan's that Donald Trump is talking about, but he follows up. He goes, because of this administration. Look, these problems in California, just like in Lahaina, Matt, they existed way before freaking any of these Democrats took office too as well. This is a multifaceted problem. And it's one party does what the other party can't do. It seems like when it comes to our foreign policy, if we want a serious war, get the Republicans involved. Get George W. Bush, they'll get it done, right?
Yeah.
If it's something that you want to reshape in America and you want to get away some land, let the Democrats run in there and stuff. The Democrats listen to the environmentalists. And this is really hurting serious conversations when it comes to climate change, right? Like, not so much about climate change but the fact is, how do we keep Mother Earth clean? I think that oil and pipelines and these companies should be responsible for what they do. I think that companies like all these electrical companies should be responsible for any type of damage they do. You know what I'm saying? But we're not doing that. And it just becomes, once again, this political battle, and people are just throwing shit left and right. And it's a shame because we, the people, are the ones who are suffering.
Yeah. Well, look, you make a great point, Craig, regarding, like, it's obviously this is a problem with people in power. It's the Democrats and the Republicans. Obviously, Trump's going to blame it all on the Democrats. We have a lot of self-described right-wing populists that still say the failed policies are too much left-wing communist policies. They're stuck on that. They're stuck on that red versus blue. And you know what? Fine. Do your red versus blue crap. We're going to call out all of it. And now's the time to do it. Now's the time to say, California, you screwed up. So on one hand, Trump is right. This administration has done everything wrong, but it's just as bad as any Republican. The point is, our system doesn't work. It's a failed system. And we need to start all over altogether. This is what Babylon Bee. I want to end it with this because I think this is really funny. Just to end this on a fun note, the real fake news update. We'll tie it all up with this. Look at that. Governor Newsom orders all trees to wear masks to prevent the spread of wildfires. That's our governor, you guys. That's him. This is the guy who knows when Anderson Cooper meets him out in front of someone's house that's burning down, Anderson Cooper's not going to ask him the real question. He's going to ask him, oh, is Mean Trump hurting you? No, he's like, I'm not going to pay attention to Mean Trump. That's the interview. Not going to talk about what is your COVID policy? Why did you put California on emergency, state of emergency for bird flu last week? Why is there $26 billion missing from the homelessness money that was allocated? There's questions that he will not be asked. So look, on one hand, Trump doesn't get to the bottom of it altogether, but at least he's being vocal. We just have to keep being vocal here on the Homeless Left and our outlets and let them know the whole system is rigged, not just the Democratic Party. But that's our governor for you guys. And our state is failing. LA's burning to the ground in real time. And here we are. So thanks for you guys for being part of this discussion. Yeah, let's keep going. I guess that's what we call real fake news update, not brought to you by Pfizer. All right. Boom. Okay. Yes. Cheese slice 76. Yes. Newsom is just like Trudeau and Macron. Yes, exactly. These are WEF puppets. These are all people. They're just, we see it every time. Nothing will surprise us anymore. Nothing will surprise us anymore. Okay. I'm going to get another update from Leslie soon. I'll get a shout out to her, because this might not work out in the next half hour. We're going to see if it will. If it doesn't, I just want the viewers to know. Leslie,
we're at 2 hours and 2.5 hours right now too, as well. So.
Yeah, so we're gonna tie things up in this next 30 minutes here. I want to do a This Week in HOLLYWOKE. Yeah. It's important. I'm gonna do a real quick one. Unless you want to get out of here. You want to get out of here?
I have to because I have to. I'm getting like the whole time I'm getting texts about my mom right now. I gotta go take care of something. I'm sorry and stuff like that.
No worries.
Yeah.
No.
I love you. I'll see you. You guys know where to find me. And thank you very much, Matt. It was a great time. I look forward to being on the show next Thursday. And we look to having you on the Truth Wire on Monday. Or whenever you want to pop on in.
Monday's great. Let's do it.
Monday's great for sure. We love you, brother.
Love you too. Pasta, we'll see you next week. Okay.
You got it. Peace.
All right. We are okay. This is great. I just got some good news. And if Jamie's sticking around, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie, for being on this with us, man. You're holding it all together. Today's been a hard day. It's been a hard time, man. We're out here in the middle of the fires. People we know have lost everything. We were ready. We had our bags packed, ready to go last night. I had a good feeling. I just knew. I was looking on that map. Let me put this map up, guys. What we're waiting for, I have some good news. So we're waiting for is we're going to have a discussion with Leslie, who's going to be checking in with us here shortly, with some of the activism and the humanitarian work she's been doing. We got into action mode, guys. We saw this last night. I'll show this again. Any of you guys are in any fire danger, get the app Watch Duty now. Download it on the App Store for free, or wherever you get your Google Play, whatever it is. Get Watch Duty. This is what got us through last night. Leslie and I, as you guys know, we try to do a power couple stuff. She's a RN, and I'm doing the show. She comes on, she does talking back with you guys when she can, and loves engagement with you guys. And we love to get personal. We love to get honest. And when this happened, she and I both, in our own way, we get into action mode, right? I get into let's start investigating. Let's see what's going on. Let's check in with everyone. Let's share what we can to help people. Leslie gets into where can I physically go to help? And last night she went over to Pasadena, right into the fire. So as the fires are going, people are getting in their cars and leaving. Leslie's driving in the opposite direction, right into the fire to go help people that are displaced, help them with their animals, their pets. There were all these pets that got displaced. It's the saddest thing you guys have ever seen. I know it takes an incredible amount of courage to do what she was doing last night. So she's at it again today. She went to a couple different places to help as we've been doing the show live. So I've been hearing from her, and I think there might be a way we can check in with her here in a moment and see where she's at. We got Leslie. Leslie is here with us right now. Hey, Leslie, can you tell us where you are and what's going on as far as the environment where I guess you're helping people right now? Tell us where you're at.
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, great. I put on my mic. I'm not sure if this is actually working or if it's
working.
iPhone microphone, but it's kind of loud here. It's funny. I went to 3 different places. The first place I went to was the Pan Pacific Park by the Grove in LA, like I told you. They opened that, I think, yesterday, and it's amazing to hear that they are at cap with donations because the whole community got together and they have everything that they need for now. So it's not exactly a bad thing that they turned me down at Pan Pacific Park. They are flooded with donations, whether it's food or drinks or blankets and portable beds and all that stuff. They're at capacity, so that's okay. I got turned down at in Los Angeles, so then I drove to the new shelter that they put in Arcadia. I also got turned down there, which is, again, not a bad thing. It means that the community got together and everyone's putting all their effort together and donating all kinds of stuff. So they turned me down again. So then I drove to Pasadena. I'm currently in well, I put the directions to come here, but I'm at the convention center in Pasadena. I've been here before for America's Got Talent. It's a very popular place you see all over the place, but here you can see behind me all these food trucks, a lot of police activity. Here in the conference center or the convention center, I don't know, is where I actually got to walk in there. There's a big sign that says no media coverage. Once I pass the door, so I can't really show you guys what it looks like in there, but there are probably, if not dozens, hundreds of, they're not beds. They're the little cots that military uses, or if you go camping, is what you use to sleep on. A lot of cots. There are all kinds of people. I saw a lot of families, a lot of children, a lot of elderly people being stationed there. Probably people that have either been mandatorily evacuated from their homes, or they might have lost their homes, which is a very sad thing, obviously. So seeing all those families, seeing all those children, seeing all those elderly people, it's really devastating. It's very heartbreaking, but I'm so happy to be here. I actually just got here. I was driving around for a while, but I just got here. I found a parking spot. I haven't brought out my donations. I have 8 boxes of snacks, of popcorns and potato chips and jerkies and mango and fruits and stuff like that. And that was given to me by Glenn. He is the owner of a food bank in Los Angeles. Matt, you know this, the World Harvest Food Bank in Los Angeles. So he gave me these boxes. So I'm here with them. I'm just going to find a place to put it in. I'm going to, you know what, maybe I can walk around. Is there 5 more minutes for this?
Yes, of course. While you're
to show you guys the amazing community effort here. There are people like myself, everything full of ashes. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of people here from the community and from far away places. I've met people from Orange County, from Long Beach, from San Pedro, all over the place. And there are people that are bringing in their own cooked meals. They have hot meals. I think I showed you guys already. And let me know if you can't hear me. It's kind of loud. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. It's working.
There are food trucks here that are offering meals free of charge to either people that are misplaced or people that are volunteering as well. You can see the food truck in the back. There's another food truck that you may see behind me, the blue one. There's tents all over the place handing meals out to people, water, juices, Powerade, Gatorade, Pedialytes that I saw. A lot of sandwiches are made. Of course, there's police officers here to keep us safe, to serve and protect, right? This table here.
No, but sure.
Yeah. I met some of these people yesterday at the Humane Society in Pasadena, which I will go to maybe a little later to help out with the animals there. Oh, that's a whole nother story. I don't know if you want.
Yeah, I want to ask you about the animals in a second, but could you clarify? I just want to be clear for our viewers. The smoke. What is it? Is the smoke still in the air? Is this what's going on with the? Is that? Because I know you were in the N95 last night. Because I felt like we went outside, we can't breathe at all. Is that what are you still feeling that, or did it kind of go away a little?
Actually, that's a great point you're making. I brought my N95. I'm not wearing it. I probably should be. You can't see it on camera, but if you look out into the atmosphere, there are tiny white flakes just going everywhere. It's like raining ashes. It's pretty bad.
So the ashes that are in the air that are coming down on people, that's actually something a mask can protect from, as opposed to the crap they told us for years that we could stop a virus with the mask. This is what it's for. It's actually for ash coming down. You actually can protect yourself. That's
these are
an actual good use for these damn things.
These are okay for large particles.
Yeah.
I'm sure I am breathing in microparticles as well. That's not good for my lungs. It's not good for me. It's actually giving me a headache already. I'll put it on my respirator after we get off this call.
Okay.
Anyway, there are a lot of news stations here. I've seen probably ABC and KTLA, and I don't know. There's like 6 vans behind me. Oh, there's Channel 34, as you know, Matt, Univision. They're trying to find a lot of people to interview.
But the press is not allowed inside the actual area where people are being held because they have a no press rule, so they have to be outside. Is that right?
Yes. If you see behind me, there's 3 large signs that say no media. No media inside the shelter. So behind me is the shelter. That's where I entered, and I spoke to a few people. This is where you find the cots and a lot of the misplaced families, a lot of pets. Look at this cutie over here. I'm not sure if they're housing animals here. They might be redirected to the Humane Society. That's why we had like 300 plus animals just yesterday. That's not counting after I left at 9 p.m. That's not counting at 10, at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. All the people that had to evacuate. I'm sure we got hundreds of more animals overnight. And today, the fires are just getting worse. I assume that the Humane Society is almost, or if not at capacity, of all the animals that need homes for at least 7 days. Well, someone figured it out. I just don't know what's going to happen, Matt, after 7 days. What is supposed to be figured out after 7 days? Like, this is
I don't know.
a catastrophe. This is devastating. It is heartbreaking. And again, so many families I saw inside that I can't show you, but you can see a lot of activity behind me. And so many people are here. It's really, it's a beautiful thing to see the community come together for this. It's just very heartbreaking that we have to be in this place right now.
It is extremely heartbreaking, and you know the fact that they're giving it a week. I mean, we were talking about all day today, Leslie, about how similar this is to Lahaina, how similar it is to North Carolina. That's what they're probably going to figure out in 7 days is what website people can go to submit an application to get $700 or $750 sent to their house. That's going to be the extent of it. And when I say sent to their house, I mean to a friend or someone else or a PO box, not their actual house, because that's gone and there's not going to be any more mailed service. Not to mention they have to get on a laptop to get online to put the application. And we saw this happen in North Carolina just a few months ago. We saw this happen in Lahaina. So that might be the extent of what people are waiting for this week. I hate to be so pessimistic, but we've seen this over and over again. Does that sound like what people are going to be waiting for? Is there anything else of good news you think they're going to get in these 7 days?
Yes, I'm sorry. I got distracted a little bit.
No worries.
I'm not really sure what people are going to do with $700.
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe it'll go up to 800. Maybe they'll say, hey,
$7 more.
Yeah, maybe it'll be 800 this time because you know it's a little more expensive to live, a little more costly to live in LA. So we'll up it by another $50 or $100.
Yeah.
Let's get to before I let you go, I just want to ask you, I know you're giving us a tour outside here and I see all the action. And we appreciate you out there and doing this, not to mention your instinct and impulse to go into the fire, which you did last night. And I know you shared with us, we weren't live on the show yet, but I want you to kind of summarize your experience with the animals because I think that might have been the most hard-hitting part, the part that people don't really think about. When people have lost everything, they also have animals that either are lost, they're hurt, they're dead, or if they're even alive, they have nowhere to go with the pets. They end up going to where you were last night and where I guess you're going to probably see more of today. Can you tell us what that experience was like last night or what's happening with these people? What you've been intimately right next to watching them go through this?
Yes, absolutely. So where I went yesterday was, can you still hear me? There's a lot of noise. Okay, good. Where I went yesterday was the Humane Society in Pasadena. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the Humane Society, but it is actually a place. They have several places. One of them is in Pasadena. When I showed up, and Matt knows this, I showed up to try and grab a few animals so I can foster them. I thought I was going there. I told Matt I might come back with a dog or two or a cat. I don't know, but my purpose there was to donate my time, of course, but also to foster some animals. Now, what happened is I got there and I started working. Right away. I started helping with the intake of dogs there are all kinds of people that brought in animals, whether it was their pets and they have to evacuate and they have nowhere to go. So they need their pets, in a safe place while they find somewhere to go, or they have to go to a family's house that can't take pets, or they have to go to a shelter that does not allow pets. So the Humane Society was there to house your pets temporarily. So I was helping with the process of registering the animals to their rightful owners and things like that. What also I saw a lot of is people found a lot of animals in the street. So they threw a blanket on them and grabbed them and brought them to the Humane Society. So a lot of these, I would say a big portion of what I saw, maybe 25% of the animals I helped with were stray animals. And it was very heartbreaking. It's either people did not know what the heck to do with their animals, so they just left the doors open and said, good luck, I hope they survive, and they let the animals go. Or some people I'm sure were in a panic. I'm guessing some animals ran away because they're so horrified of what's going on around them. I don't know. But the point is, we had a lot of strays come in, a lot of French bulldogs. I'm not sure why. A lot of animals come in without a home. A lot of them were not microchipped, so they're just kind of going to stay at the Humane Society until they probably can find a foster parent for them. So again, we have a little over 300 animals just yesterday. So what the process was, the animals that were supposed to be fostered yesterday, 4 organizations came from San Diego, from Santa Barbara, from faraway places to grab all the animals that, were being housed at the Humane Society to make space for those animals that need temporary housing for the people who are evacuated or stray animals that were found. So that was what was happening yesterday. That's what I helped with. Thank you. Their advertising of free food is really awesome here. It's great community work that they're doing. Anyway, Matt, I forgot. I was in the middle of something.
No.
The donation. So in social media, they posted that the Humane Society is receiving a lot of donations. So we had, I probably met 100, 150 families maybe that came to the Humane Society to donate. And I'm talking about tons and tons of pounds of dog food and cat food and guinea pig food and rabbit food, cat litter, cat beds, dog beds, hundreds of crates. The community, it was a beautiful thing witnessing how much support the animals have as well, because we all think about humans, right, and how to help people survive. A lot of people don't think about the dangers and the risks that our fur friends have, and how much help they need, how many resources rescue places need. Yes, guinea pig food. We had all kinds of. We had a family that was misplaced that had to evacuate. They brought in 8 exotic birds, and we did not turn them away. We had another bird rescue come to the Humane Society to pick them up. 8 exotic birds. So we saw all kinds of exotic animals, not just dogs or cats. It was a beautiful thing. Someone came in with a rabbit that they found in the street, a cat. Somebody, we had 3 firemen. I didn't talk about this last night because I was too affected by this, but we had 3 firemen, Matt, come in. They looked rough, like they were in the fires. They had some burns on their skin. They were very dirty. One of them had an eye injury. They found 2 dogs that were okay. You could tell that the dogs went through a lot, but they brought in 2 dogs that they found. And so that just kept happening. People kept bringing in animals that they found, like in the neighborhoods, in the fires, full of smoke, and they were just in a really rough spot. It was really sad to see. And I'm really sad about all the animals that were not saved, Matt.
Yeah.
All the wildlife, all the deer, all the mountain lions, everything that animals, I don't know. I guess it's an instinct to kind of know where to run, but maybe not. I don't know. So I'm really sad and worried about all the wildlife that did not make it, or if they're injured, or it's really sad, really, really sad. But I was really happy to be there. If anyone is in the LA area, the Humane Society could use volunteers. We had maybe 30-40 people yesterday there helping. I was one of them. It was awesome to be there, and they probably will need a lot more help today and tomorrow and the days coming.
At the Humane Society. Okay. They should, guys, if you're listening to this, you're seeing this, and you're wanting to help, it's the Humane Society you can reach out to. How can they contact if they want to help?
They are everywhere on social media. If you don't have social media, they're online. Just Google Humane Society Pasadena.
Humane Society Pasadena. Okay.
Yes, on social media, they post often. They post updates, pictures, and they're probably posting about the things they need right now.
Okay.
We had all kinds of donations yesterday. We didn't get a lot of cat litter, so we need that. This is kind of an interesting need, but they need dog and cat treats that have calming effects like melatonin or something.
Mm.
All the animals yesterday were shivering. They were
Oh,
urinating
wow.
on themselves. They were horrified. It was such a sad thing. So maybe treats with melatonin and calming effects, that kind of stuff. But they're all over social media. It's great support that they're getting.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you, Leslie, for checking in with us today. All the humanitarian work you're doing and the activism and your instinct to go into the fire when everyone else is their instinct is to leave. You go into it, and it just takes a lot of courage to be able to do what you're doing. We appreciate it, and inspiring others to do the same. If you're not in flight or fight mode, get in action mode, guys. That's what you got to do. Whatever that looks like. If it's not going physically where Leslie is, there's other ways you can show action, like reach out to the Humane Society Pasadena. Do some sharing on social media of how other people can help if you can't get to it. Have conversations like we're having. That's just get into action mode. That's what we need, more of that. So thank you so much, Leslie. It's been quite a ride being here with you in LA and watching so many people suffering. We're all doing our best, keeping it together. We appreciate all your effort. Trying to stay positive, and I hope to see you home soon. We can continue helping people throughout the week and the weeks to come. Really, it's gonna take everything.
So too. Absolutely. Yeah. And just the last thing I'll say, the community effort in this devastating, happenings in Los Angeles is a beautiful thing. Again, I can't emphasize enough how many churches are here. Scientology is here. The Catholic Church, they're donating a lot of food and clothing and blankets. I mean, I think I see Ultimed, which is an insurance company. Everyone is here. The police department, fire department, all the Univision, KTLA, ABC. It's just, in a time like this, it's a beautiful sight to have the community together. Thank you for having me. I know I spoke a lot.
No, it was all useful information. Thank you so much, Leslie. And we'll see you back here next time. Be safe. Stay positive.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Be safe out there.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. If you're just joining us, we've been covering the LA fires. We're here in LA, watching the town burn down, watching everything just kind of crumble. People around us. There's people we know, close people in with us here in Hollywood, in our friend circle, family. There's people suffering right now, and we're doing the best we can to keep the conversation going, keep it flowing with you guys. We have a little bit more show left for you, and then we're going to be peace out here and then let you guys know where you can find us next. But we are coming to you now twice a week. We're going to be here with you Tuesdays and Thursdays, hopefully on YouTube, until they throw us off again. But Rumble, that's our home base, and on Twitter, X, if you guys are watching right now, thank you for your support. I'll try to get to some of the comments in a second, but again, we got to wrap up the show here soon. I think we do have time for one more segment, and I want to cover this. This is This Week in HOLLYWOKE is just a little different. Didn't have time to fix the opening, but you guys know our little opening of HOLLYWOKE is we make fun of Hollywood all the time. We talk about it being this kind of shit lib place where everybody kind of gets in their little vote blue no matter who tribe, and celebrities are used to voice and represent the powerful. They're there to deflect other people. They're there to be in line and perform theater. They're the best at it. The Hollywood celebrities are actually the best at the theater. The news organizations, they look at Hollywood. Politicians look to Hollywood to show them how to present the best, how to act the best, how to cry on command. All those things we learn here in Hollywood. So we make fun of that usually. Every week or two, we'll give you guys a story about HOLLYWOKE. Today's a little different because it's so much more personal and upsetting. So we don't mean to, just disclaimer, we don't mean to make fun in the same way today, but it is important to understand that when an entire town is captured like this, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond when the city itself starts falling down. So I'm going to lead in the segment, and then we're going to get to a couple of items in it, which include Dwight Howard. We have an incident with him. And but we're going to start with James Woods and some of the celebrities that lost their houses. So we're going to do that in a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up. It is time. Yeah, it is time for This Week in HOLLYWOKE. Let's go. It's time for This Week in HOLLYWOKE. Unfortunately, we have to start off with not the opposite of a laugh, which is this. That's the Hollywood sign. Play it again. That's the Hollywood sign. This is not a joke. This isn't trick photography. This isn't AI. This isn't special effects or CGI. This is the Hollywood sign, literally on fire behind it. I have not gotten word yet. We've not gotten word that it has actually burnt down, but this is what it looks like right now. So what is actually crumbling to the ground? Literally, we know plenty of people have lost their houses, big houses, huge Hollywood Hills houses are gone. Places we used to be inside and had events in and know people and personally know people in these houses. They're gone. Like the hills are completely the infrastructure is gone. So let's take a look at some of the people you might recognize. I know you know them. These are A-listers and such who have actually lost their homes in the last 24 hours. Let's hear a little bit of this.
In the area, while others lost their homes completely. Page 6 reports Paris Hilton, her Malibu home burned to the ground. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt lost their home. Spencer actually in his car recording himself saying that he watched his home burn down on their security cameras. So heartbreaking. Leighton Meester and Adam Brody just 3 days ago were walking the red carpet at the Golden Globes, and now their home gone. Anna Faris, Miles Teller, Eugene Levy, Anthony Hopkins, Billy Crystal. I want to note, Billy Crystal and his wife Janice Crystal lived in Pacific Palisades in the same home since 1979. Almost 5 decades in that home. Decades of memories. Decades of memories.
All right. Yeah, look at these people's faces. I'm pretty sure 90% of these people, absolutely 90% at least, minimally, voted for Kamala. Well, what does that have to do with anything? They just lost their home. Why are we talking politics? The reason we're talking politics is these people swayed elections. We talked about Trump earlier. This isn't about whether he would have done a better job or not. The point is, these people are mouthpieces for a tribe. The tribe is called the Vote Blue No Matter Who cult, who is their neoliberal, neoconservative cult that pretends to be against MAGAs. Is that the MAGAs are the problem? They're the domestic terrorists. We have to stop them at all costs. Meanwhile, they're protecting the military-industrial complex. People like Mark Hamill is on this list. He lost everything. This is Luke Skywalker himself, who at one point in Star Wars was battling the Empire. Now is representing the Empire. We've been covering Mark Hamill on this. It's absolutely insane that these people, Jamie Lee Curtis as well. Also, we know about Tom Hanks. Ben Affleck, maybe once in a while he'll get something right, but at the end of the day, we're pretty sure he voted for Kamala as well. There's one person not on this list they have not focused on here. Well, we're going to give him a chance because he went on CNN to cry a little bit. I'm only going to focus on him because we got a bone to pick. Is that the expression? We got a bone to pick with this guy. None other than James Woods. Let's see James Woods. I think he's kind of tongue-tied at this point, and the interviewer on CNN is going to have to do the talking for him, but you can see he's completely in tears. Let's watch this.
Or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have so much strength, and we appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process.
Yeah, he's trying to rebuild his life. He's trying to process losing everything. That look on his face, though, I have to say this, and the reason I'm pointing him out amongst the others is because this isn't just about being on the Vote Blue No Matter Who tribe. This is obviously a Trumper, not. I mean, if you guys don't know, he's somebody who didn't vote for Kamala. But what James Woods is protecting is something even larger, which is it's all connected, man. It's all connected. He's protecting the interest of Israel, which is, again, you could actually check either box, red or blue. It doesn't matter. As long as you're doing the bidding of the CIA, military industrial complex, Mossad, all that shit, then you're willing to put stuff out on Twitter. You're willing to say, let's kill them all when it comes to Palestine. But when you lose your own home, you're having a human moment. Now you're boo-hoo-hooing, right? James Woods, now it's okay. And I know this is a fuzzy clip. It just, the resolution didn't come off good off Twitter, but you guys can see his body language right now in that freeze frame. You're looking at it right now. Look at what I'm looking at. This is, you could switch this guy out with a Palestinian person who just lost his house in Gaza. You could do that right now, and you wouldn't notice much of a difference, except that person would not be on a camera in a nicely paid for hotel with mic'd up, looking in the camera, talking to CNN, because CNN wouldn't allow that to happen. So you wouldn't see that part. But if you would, this is exactly the body language and the devastation and the loss you'd have from a Palestinian. Why does that matter? Well, James Woods literally says, kill them all. When it comes to Palestine, if you don't believe me, check it out. Bomb the savages who did this back to the Stone Age. There are no gray areas. Kill them all. And then this obviously was important to put. James Woods is also the executive producer of Oppenheimer, which is, we say, does do a little anti-war, but at the same time does continue to propagate military industrial complex at the same time, which is it's very interesting that Christopher Nolan was able to do that with his film. But we're not going to go down the Oppenheimer path right now. But the point is, this is a person who, again, protects something that, whether he believes it wholeheartedly or not, we kind of think he does. Kind of like a Michael Rappaport, who honestly thinks, Israel the chosen one. We have to protect them at all costs. And then goes to the extent to say, kill them all. Kill them all when it comes to innocent civilians. Bomb the crap out of them. Destroy their houses. So it looks like your house right now, James Woods. That's what your house looks like right now. And then we're supposed to believe that this is a different team than the HOLLYWOKE team, which is Kamala or bust. Trump is, the next Hitler. So this theater that they're playing on these two sides is insane. The point is, ultimately, people of the elite, they are used, especially in Hollywood, they are used to do the bidding of the donor class and what they represent. So James Woods, in this case, is no different than any of these other celebrities we mentioned that have all lost their houses. And we're not sitting here saying they should have lost their houses. We're saying this is what happens when you're a puppet as well. You're being used. They didn't want this to happen. They're getting used, so they're getting their millions and millions of dollars, but somebody's writing their check. And so now they have to deal with the suffering just like the rest of us. And it's kind of unfortunate. It's sad. Okay, we're still in HOLLYWOKE right now. I got one more part for you for Hollywood. Oh, look at that. We got I forgot about this one. Jamie pointed this out. Karma. Yeah, that's for you, James Woods. That's the ball on the back of the head. That's what karma looks like. That's what karma looks like. Thanks for that, Jamie. And before we end the HOLLYWOKE section, I really think this is important that we look at this, because this happened right before the fires, and I wanted to get this on the show. This is Dwight Howard. And since we're on Palestine right now, this actually makes a good transition, because Dwight Howard is going to explain on a podcast what it looks like when you get out of HOLLYWOKE and you just speak your mind because it's something that you feel is the right thing to do. Something as simple as #FreePalestine. That is the simple thing Dwight Howard did, and he's going to tell you what consequence he had from doing that. Check it out.
Tweet Free Palestine. Less than 10 minutes after I tweet that, I get a call from the commissioner of the NBA.
Stop it.
Agents, people like working with my foundation at the time, Texas, you got to erase this tweet. You got to take this down. You're going to get it. I'm like, what did I do that was so bad?
Can somebody explain to me?
Yeah, can somebody explain? And it was just like, because I went against the grain. I said something that people didn't like, and now
not people didn't like, they didn't like.
So now it's like I gotta stand on what I believe and how I feel, and not go back on it.
Yeah.
And when you're in the league, you be in that place where if I say too much, or if I say something, I may not get a job no more.
That's that 70% of people that's out the league that got you.
I gotta hold my tongue.
Oh, man. You know, Dwight Howard has some courage, man. Now, obviously, he's not going to be doing that if he was on the Lakers at the time when he won a championship during the bubble. If you guys remember the bubble, I don't know you sports fans out there, but he was part of that, the LeBron team, where you have to stay in line. You have to put the hashtag vote on the back of your jersey. You had a choice. That's what. So the commissioner, Adam Silver, you had a choice in 2020 whether you wanted to do hashtag vote or hashtag what was it? Something like, what was it? Black Lives Matter. Hashtag BLM, hashtag vote, which was, again, you're being told what to do because you're on TV, you're getting paid a lot of money, and we want to see that hashtag, which is doing the bidding of the donor class, the prison industrial complex, which is Joe Biden. And when you say hashtag vote, you're saying vote for Biden. That's what Dwight Howard participated in while he was forced to get jabbed and be in the Orlando bubble and win a championship with LeBron. Fast forward 4.5 years, Dwight is no longer on the Lakers, no longer getting championship rings. He's tweeting things out that he thinks he can tweet out. I believe he was still playing in the NBA, but he was coming off the bench on another team. I forget which team, but he's telling this story because it's important that even when he wasn't winning a championship and he was at the end of his career, the last leg, he's still tied to this oligarchy. He's still tied to the donor class of Adam Silver, who's going to give him instructions. And if he doesn't listen, he's going to get called out, like he told us on the podcast. Do you think Dwight Howard is lying about this? Do you think he went on this podcast to tell a lie? Do you think the NBA would never do something like that? Well, we happen to believe Dwight Howard. And we also believe that the NBA would respond to something like that with something like this. Dwight Howard Free Palestine tweet is false. The claim is false, says the NBA. Dwight Howard isn't telling the truth, at least according to the NBA. The 8-time NBA All-Star recently said he was told to delete a 2014 tweet supporting Palestine after he was called by Elite Commissioner Adam Silver. Okay, so the tweet was in 2014. Actually, I got to give him a little more credit. I didn't know that. That's worth saying. Actually, that was during his hiatus. He was actually not retired at all, but he was not. I don't think he was on a team at the time. I think he was between stuff or not being taken seriously. That was before okay, that makes sense. So he put the tweet out. Now the NBA is saying now that that's categorically false. That's insane. This is exactly what you expect to come back. They're going to deny it crazily. They're going to deny it. But Dwight Howard reminds us what happens when celebrities get out of line. This is what happens. You have to stay in line. People like Mark Ruffalo, who we've championed when he's been for Free Palestine, and at the last minute he's instructed to go on Twitter. He's instructed to get in these commercials and tell you, vote for Kamala, but later we'll take care of Palestine. But right now we got to take care of Trump. So these celebrities are instructed what to do. They're very good at it. But I like these moments like Dwight Howard, where he's off the script, and he's telling us what's really happening. So we appreciate that from Dwight Howard. We do feel bad. Our condolences are to anybody who's lost their home, even if you're a multimillionaire. We think that sucks for you. But California is suffering. And I hope enough people are waking up now to understand that we are living in the capital of the theater capital of the world is California. And the curtains are falling down. They're not just being opened. The curtains and the theater itself are falling to the ground. That is this week in HOLLYWOKE. Okay, guys, we are going to wrap up the show. I just want to tell you one more time about this app, Watch Duty. Another screenshot from last night where we were stuck at the Blue Dot in Los Angeles. These are all the fires. I actually got an update. I'm having a hard time sharing it from my phone, so I'm just going to read. I'm going to read it from my phone. But it seems that more evacuations are being requested right now in real time. This was 8 minutes ago. There was evacuations in another part of LA. This is in the north of Agora Road and east of Cannon Road to Oak Park High School. This is another fire they're calling the Kenneth Fire. It's not on this map. Again, this is from last night. But if you go to the Watch Duty app, you guys can look at this yourself. You can literally download this to your phone and you'll get updates. There's yet another fire happening right now. It's called the Kenneth fire northwest of the Palisades fire. So now we got them everywhere. We got a Hearst fire. We got the Eaton. You guys can see Eaton fire and Hearst fire on there. The Sunset fire is still in existence. You don't see that one, but that one is right above the Los Angeles blue dot that you see at the bottom there. That's the Sunset fire. That's the one that's basically taking out at Hollywood, and the one with the Hollywood sign. I'll throw that up again. This is the Hollywood sign from last night. So this is still going. This is still ongoing. It's not over. It's not over, guys. We're still safe where we are. We're able to do the show from the home office. We didn't lose. I thought we might have lost power. We didn't. So that was good. So we're able to be here with you guys. 3-hour show today. We really appreciate everything we're able to do with you guys today. I think we're going to sign off here in a second. I just want to, we didn't get to I wanted to do the Caitlin Johnstone take on the Medal of Freedom stuff. But you know what? Like we'll wait on that. We'll wait on that. Hey, Jamie, do you want to come in and help me sign off today? I want to make sure I didn't. There wasn't any last minute thing that you caught that I missed.
No, you covered it all. I think we did a nice beginning and ending on this LA fire story, and I know this one hits close to home for you, so it was very important to get this out there. I think you did a good job today.
Thank you, Jamie. During the show we were getting pushback. I was getting personal text messages from people telling me that we were going too far. I'm telling you this
during the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. During our interview with Leo, we were being told that we're going too far. And it was really infuriating about getting those messages was that somebody had the audacity to suggest that we did something else instead of doing this conversation. We went and helped people and helped the animals. And I'm sitting here livid because I'm like, we're also doing that too. That Leslie was literally helping animals, helping people.
Yeah.
And I knew we would be cutting to her in the show to discuss that. And I just for me to be interrupted in my interview, to hear that and have to defend that, I didn't even return that text. I don't want to return that text. I say either you want to watch our show, watch us be honest and approach this very, like you said, Jamie, close to home issue that's happening right here. Our town is burning the F down right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me I'm not allowed to talk about it as we have Leslie out on the ground helping people. We're having the conversations. We're asking the questions. Are you effing telling me we're not allowed to do that? It's too soon. Is it disrespectful to the people losing stuff? Is it what? Is it just
it's your neighbors?
My neighbors?
It's your neighbors.
It's my effing neighbors.
Yeah, you live there. I mean, this is your town. You have every right to talk about it whatever way you need to. And what do you mean they're going too far? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Same thing with Lahaina. It was too soon. You'd
It's
rather
always too
trust
soon.
Anderson Cooper. He's going to have a lot more responsible reporting on Lahaina. And as you saw, we covered Anderson Cooper literally today on Real Fake News, going in to get that shot with Gavin Newsom, and somebody's house is burning down right behind him. Who's more disrespectful here, Anderson Cooper or the homeless left? You tell me. You guys are watching. You honestly tell me who you think is more disrespectful right now. Us asking about DEWs or Anderson Cooper standing in front of someone's effing house burning down, asking Gavin Newsom if he's hurt by bully Trump for being too mean to him, as he smirks and says, I'm with the president. The president's got everyone's back, as he's laundering money from the homeless fund and not being asked about it, not being grilled about it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, just all theater for these people. And I don't see how what you've done was going too far. I mean, this is what needs to happen. And it's like, why wait? This is the perfect time to talk about it. So, I mean, it was great. You had Leslie on, and she was on the ground doing what she does. And I think that was a very, very important segment of the show. But the whole show from beginning to end was really, well, except for Nick, because he was talking about his thing. But everything else was all about this fire and trying to address it from different angles. And I think that's really important. So cool. I think you did a good job today.
Cool. Hey, I appreciate that. Man, I'm just going to throw one more little quickie up because I want people to understand how heartbreaking this is right now. Like you guys, you've gotten to see how angry I've gotten. We've gotten personal. We've gotten emotional, but I don't think we've gotten as emotional as this. if this doesn't pull at your heartstrings, I don't know what will.
Just a bunny. He's freaking out trying to get a bunny. Wow. That's
Well,
a lucky
everything
little
else
rabbit.
is gone. I mean, everything's
Yeah.
gone. So what do you have left? You have your humanity. You have the animal. I mean, that's it. And you put everything into that action that he did right there.
It's amazing. Like this, I was thinking it was going to be his dog or a cat coming out, and it's just a bunny. That's probably a wild rabbit too.
Probably.
And it jumping into his arms. That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, let's try and be. I mean, I hope inspired that there's still humanity left in this world. Starting
There
this year,
is.
Jamie. Yeah.
There really is, but it's like our society tries to crush it out of you. It's not easy, man. We are going up against some of the most evil forces in the world. I mean, that's really what we're up against right now. And I hope this period of history comes to an end soon.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of stress for us until that happens.
Yeah.
So all I know to do is to keep doing what we're doing right here, is at least try to wake people up and get the message out to people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks
So
for
I
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead.
what you're doing today was perfect. What needs to happen. So good job.
Cool. Thanks, Jamie. And we have a team. I know you saw that new little banner I was working on. I threw you on the team.
I did. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're part of the team, man. Like it takes a team sometimes. Like I don't. That's why I didn't start the Matt Weinglass show. It didn't feel right. I wanted to start something that felt like we could do it together. And I'm not I'm not trying to criticize anyone who went with the something show. You know, there's a lot of I won't mention any, but there nothing against that. That's one way to go.
Right.
That's the something.
I know. Honestly, I like it better when you can come up with a name for a show instead of just using your name as the show.
Yeah.
Everybody does that, and it just shows a lack of creativity. I like it when somebody comes up with something good.
Yeah, and I want people to feel everyone can feel part of it. And I want the viewers I want you guys to feel part of it, that we're all homeless. I saw a question earlier. And I apologize if we didn't get to all the comments, but we do have to wrap it up now, guys. But I did see a comment in there somewhere earlier where somebody was asking about homeless left. What are you homeless left from? And they might have missed the opening, but I try to tell that to people that we started from the left. Now we're here. I don't know what here is, but here is anybody who feels like they no longer want to be part of the tribe, part of identity politics, part of red team, blue team,
it's post-opolist.
Yeah.
We're outside of that.
Yeah. So we want to open our arms up to anyone, wherever you are feeling homeless from. It doesn't have to be the left. You can be homeless from anywhere you're coming from and to feel part of this. And so, we look at that slap your face on that banner. Maybe there's someone out there right now watching that wants to get into this. You might end up on the banner with us too down the line. Who knows? So,
and this is the banner you're talking about, right? Let's
yeah.
bring it up
Throw
real
it up.
quick. There we go.
Yeah. That's our little. And I didn't do that.
I look so serious in that.
That was I just cried. I can but no, look. Everybody's in a different mindset. We got different emotions. I'm the most serious.
Yeah, I know. You get some serious faces, man.
But Jets Jay Scott behind us. You got Leslie next to me. So it's Leslie Nee. You got Jay Scott. Stephanie. We got to give her some credit today, man. She got us Leo on the show today. She just couldn't join us. Yeah, Stephanie's she's the publisher, health and wellness activist. She's the one in the middle, guys. She's the one that gets us these big interviews. I've had, even before I met you in Pasta, she was getting us massively big interviews, like the wellness company guys and oh man, she brought some big guests on there. We had Dr. Geert. She knew a lot of people, brought them on for us. So it was really cool.
Awesome.
But after that, you and Pasta being on there with us, and we will see 2025. We're here. We're still here. We ain't going nowhere. You could try burning down our house, but you know what? We'll just build it right back. MLK said, the house is burning down. They're burning down the house, but we just got to get off our asses, get outside, and rebuild the town, man. Rebuild the town. Oh, I don't hear you.
Oh, no, I'm talking to my nephews. They're getting loud.
Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, cool, man. And we'll see you guys. We'll be back on Tuesday. We'll have Jay Scott on with us. He's been working on a new theme song for our show. It might be ready by then, or it'll be the week after, but it's pretty cool. And then we'll be back with you. Craig will be back on Thursday, and we'll go from there. We'll have some other guests to announce and do that. So in the meantime, guys, just go ahead and get on our socials. We know this is our main base is Rumble. So you guys, if you haven't followed Rumble, join the Rumble channel yet, please do that. Our experimental channel on YouTube. We hope it works. We got a handful of you guys on there right now. We hope it works. And of course, Twitter. Matt, I just put Matt Weinglass in there because that's where I have most of the following. But you guys can also follow the Homeless Left on X as well. That's also cool. And this is how you can support us right there. Jamie, thanks for holding it down for us today, man.
Yeah,
really
no problem.
Appreciate it.
No problem. That's good. I like what we're doing here.
Very cool. All right. I hope we didn't.
I think I think it's important. We got to get the message out to people, and this is for some of us, this is all we can do, or I feel like this is all I can do. So I want to help wherever I can.
Yeah. Very good. Okay, man. Well, take care. And we'll catch you next time. I'm going to throw out the outro. If you guys had missed the Biden and Gavin Newsom moment, I'm going to play it out with that. That's on our outro, but just pay attention. I know it's hard to hear, but it's Biden literally talking about becoming he flies into LA where everybody's losing their homes, and he decides that it's time to announce that he's now officially a great grandfather because someone had a baby. And everyone applauds, and then he gets back on the Air Force One. That's the lesson here. That's our president, our current president of the United States. So have fun with that. I think that's it. If you want, we might
only got like 10 more days of him.
10 more days.
Thank goodness. Worst president ever, at least in my lifetime.
Ever. Yeah.
What a disaster this was.
What
I tried to tell people in 2020 there are some things worse than Trump, like Joe Biden, and they went out and rushed out and voted for him.
That's right.
Yeah, well, we got what they wanted.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Homeless Left today. We'll see you back next Tuesday. And power to the people, power in numbers. We were for principle, courage, conviction, all that stuff. Let's keep at it. Let's keep fighting the good fight. Thanks again. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks all our guests today. Thanks to Craig. Thanks to Leo, NICK CRUSE, everyone. We appreciate it. And to Leslie on the ground for us as well. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. All right. We out.
Bye, everybody.
Notification yesterday their home was probably burned down. Today, the parents are maybe still standing. I'm not sure. But the good news is I'm a great grandfather as of today. I have a granddaughter. And a baby girl, a baby boy. So I remember this day for about long research. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, it's very okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Make your way out. Thank you, Brett. Thank you so much. Make your way out. Make your way to the park. Please go this way. Thank you.
Press. We're going out this way. Thank you. Thank you, Press. We're exiting. Press. We're walking out. Thank you.